That's right. Give us your call sign or beat it. No, I'm just kidding. We don't really care about call signs when we're on the internets. And if you'd like to join us on our internet talk that we're about to do, take the link in the video description to our Discord and join us over there. And make sure you go down to hashtag live-stream to see all your wonderful chats, and hashtag live-stream/afterchat if you want to talk with us. Okay? Okay. I'm a new technician. Oh, we got Charles Brown. I'm a new technician with the Baofeng UV5R. The club I took my test at gave me that when I passed. I was looking for a mobile EVTHA. Could double as my home set. Mobile radio, possibly? Depends on your budget, buddy. Depends on your budget. Yeah, buy a used 50-watt mobile if you can. There are a number of good ones on the market. You can get used all the time, right? Anyway, let's go ahead and join the Discord. Feel free to join us on the Discord, too. It's going to be easier for us to talk with you. But, yes, congratulations, too, Charles. Good point there, Sonic Got. So let's go ahead and say hi to our friends over on the Discord. I will hop into there right now. And away we go.
Yes, you're here in chat.
Hello.
Hello.
How you doing?
Hi, Josh. I'm surviving, sort of. Discord for me is laggy on this laptop, so pardon me.
Mm-hmm. Well, you sound fine.
Oh, yeah, the audio got dialed in. It's the, from the time I hit the key combo for my PTT to the time I'm keyed up, it's like 2-second delay, so.
Oh, wow. Holy smokes. Okay.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's kind of like a Motorola radio.
Oh, that was a burn, Tim.
Tim's a little low on his audio. So he didn't dial in his audio, but his PTT is Johnny on the spot when he clicks it. All right, well, everybody, hello and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us out here for the Discord After Chat. So the way we do this, and yes, there's a title to this video. We'll get to the answers to everybody's thoughts as we get started here. But what we like to do is start off by welcoming everybody new that's here for the first time. And yeah, we start going to the new crew, but don't worry, we'll come back and check in with all the new folks as we move along. But all right, if you're here for the first time, we'd love it if you came forward and said hi. You don't have to do anything more than that, but if you also have a question, you get priority. We'll stop everything and take your question. That's what we're out here trying to do. We're out here trying to make sure everybody gets on the air and stays on the air because they get good information, at least good enough information to be effective. So if you sound like what I just said, it's the first time that you're on the Discord and you'd like to say hi or ask a question, come forward now.
Hi, Sean in Alaska here. First time on Discord, and we're running through Starlink to make this possible. So hello, everybody.
Sean, you sound great coming to us live from Alaska. And where are you in Alaska?
I'm on the Kenai Peninsula in a town called Soldotna.
Okay, I like it. All right, so welcome. Thanks for joining us. Do you have a question or anything?
No, I'm just riding along today, listen and learn.
Yeah, all right. Well, hey, appreciate you joining us and breaking the ice. So now everybody has no excuse. So if you're here for the first time and like to say hi like Sean is, or ask a question, you can do both. Go ahead and come forward now, please.
Hi, I'm Brian Summers. Just passed my technician's test this past Thursday with the great help from Josh.
All right.
With your videos that you put out.
Well, I appreciate that. I'm glad I could help in some way. So thanks for saying hi. Do you have a question for us?
No, not really. I just wanted to tag along.
Okay, well, I appreciate you saying hi. And that's very good. Somebody is blowing me up right now. Hold on, let me mute this. There you go. All right, who's next? Anybody else that are joining us for the first time like to say hi or ask a question? Come next.
Hello.
Clint, go ahead.
So right now, so I have a mask. So for my H12, I have a comment it's in my annex still, but I want to put it up maybe this weekend outside. And also I am studying for my journal.
Okay.
And also I have a speech phone, but what's the awesome radio that y'all recommend?
What's an awesome radio that a working man can buy? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
So I gotta ask. Just give me a dollar amount. What kind of how much money are we talking about, and what bands of operation are you trying to utilize?
Be honest, I don't know how much. Maybe like 400, 500
Okay.
price range.
Yeah. So are we talking 500 for everything, power supply, or a battery, radio, antenna, and coax, or are we talking just radio?
Just oil.
Okay. So at $500, you're talking about Shagoo G90-ish territory. The Shagoo G90. I've links in the video description to Radiodity, which is a fine place to buy them. I'll pull them up right now. Let me see if I can do that. Yeah. So when you go to the website right now, the G90 is $450. And it looks like there's a bundle as usual. There's some kind of bundle usually. Wow. Okay, so the bundle right now at Radiodity is $460, and you get the radio, the cooling tray, the CE19 digital interface, and the protective case. So the waterproof cheapy case. That's a really good deal. That's a really good deal.
Copy that. Yeah, right now I am a technician still, but I'm studying. I'm trying my best to study the helm prep side. I can't read that good, but I'm trying to my best to like study.
Yeah.
I'm studying right now.
So that's
also I have a.
Well, hold on. So that's kind of why I ask about the frequencies and bands you were going to use. Do you need a good technician radio, or are you trying to get on VHF UHF, or do you already have a radio there? What's that situation? You still there, Clint?
Oh, yes, I see you. I have a 7300 on my desk.
Oh, you have a 7300? So you don't need an HF radio. Do you need a VHF UHF radio?
Yes. I'm trying to look for a mono royal to do V12 and U12.
Okay.
Like
well,
P25.
Okay. So then I'm going to pass you off to Frank here. Frank, are you on voice?
Yeah, I'm here. It's just gonna take a second for me to key up.
You're doing pretty good. So $500, UHF, VHF, and P25. What do we got, Frank?
For handheld, XTS 5000 or XTS 2500, or for mobile version, the XTL series. Same exact series, it's just mobile versus handheld. So XTL or XTS series for that price range.
There you go.
Thank you. So right now, like, what is a clear place to look? What's a good, truthful place? I mean, one time I got ripped off a royal some guy sent me one on eBay. It's a 7550 Motorola I have, and some dude ripped me off.
You got ripped off on eBay?
Yeah, I'm not surprised by that on eBay, unfortunately. The 7550 is a good DMR radio. If I remember right, it does do analog. No one at me on that one, please. My brain is not all here tonight. It is a DMR radio, I do know that, and it's decent, but it will not do P25. So you want the XTS or XTL series. Those are the best ones really to go with. It's a little dated in software and whatnot. But Josh, you have one of those. How
Yep.
do you like it?
I love it. I have no complaints. It's incredibly straightforward. I would, if you're a traditional ham like I am, I think front panel programmable is required. That's the one I went with. I have no complaints. I don't fully understand the love of the Motorola's, to be honest, but I have no complaints with the one I have. I like it a lot. In fact, I can try and look up the seller that I got off that I went to on eBay. He does not rip people off. He has a very high rating. He actually has a YouTube channel that he posts videos on all of his radios that he's doing work on. He's a very consistent seller, so I can pull that up and I can share that with you, and you could try and get a radio that way. That might be an easier way to do it.
Yes. So Josh, it's almost my birthday's come up. It's in April 7th. I mean, I turned 33 on April 7th.
Okay, congratulations.
Thank you. So Josh, I like your content. You are the bestest content guy on the ham whale. You're
Thank you.
the ham whale muscle. Either ham whale muscle.
Well, I'm not a
COO.
master, but I definitely enjoy me some radio, and I appreciate your kind words. So, yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, I don't have time. Like me, I don't got to do. I don't got to do 10 minutes yet.
10 meters. Well, you got the 7300. That'll do it.
Yes, but I'm still. I might need to make a trench in my backyard, making a trench. Put the pipes in and put the glass texture to my house in my room.
Okay. Sure. Well, I tried to find. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Do you have another question?
Yes. So I have a like sometimes I'm like it's like confusing like I'm like HLF. Nothing wrong is I like. I mean I don't like. I do like HLF. HLF is fun, but the part is confusing me is like you know how people saying like I mean people say it's easy to do. I know that, but
No.
like I try. I mean, like I just hit my antenna up and because right now I using a diamond, a diamond antenna to listen, and I was just waiting for my comment antenna put up. I was waiting for the helm guy, my helm president help me out with it.
Yeah. So I think that, well, looking in the rear view of being in ham radio for a while, I think most of ham radio is kind of easy, but I didn't start out thinking that. So whenever you're new to something, it's going to be a little difficult. I think you can expect that. What is the problems you're having?
So the problem is what having the noise the noise on Asia. I mean, maybe just my antenna. Maybe I using the diamond antenna, but the comment antenna I have in the box in my Onyx, I don't know. I don't set up yet outside, but I will when my helm club guy come. He'll help me out and then get that coin.
Yeah, so RF noise or RFI interference is something that a lot of us face on HF, and that is a true problem. That could be very difficult. That's true. If your antenna's hearing it inside, it might get better moving it outside, moving it away from your home, away from other people's homes, if possible, to the greatest extent you can, will oftentimes help reduce some of that noise. But yeah, that is a reality. A lot of hams face that. They'll have to deal with that. That's true.
Yeah. Also, it might be awesome to do like POTA. I want to like like Jason and Frank and all of them. I want to like one day maybe when I keep my journal, maybe I can go into like different kinds of ham whale what's called a ham whale fest.
Would they do like a meetup for POTA and whatnot?
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, are you in Texas? Where are you located?
I'm in Texas. I'm in Sherman, Texas. Close by Dallas.
So I mean, I don't know Texas well enough. I know that Jason posts where he's gonna go. How far out are you from where they normally meet up? Where are they, like Big Bend? Do they go to Big Bend? Is that where they go?
What? Sorry.
What park? Big Bend or something like that? What park do they?
For Jason?
Yeah.
Ham Radio 2.0? No, he's around the Dallas area.
No, where he does the POTA meetups.
That's what I'm saying. He's around the Dallas area, so it's
Okay.
Lake Ray Roberts or.
Oh, okay, Ray. That's what I was
Yeah.
thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah.
How far are you out
Yeah.
from like that area?
So I live in Sherman, Texas. I live in Sherman. I close
Yeah.
by Dallas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's north of Dallas, about 70,
Oh
80
man,
miles.
you just gotta go out when he's doing one of those POTA events. That's gonna be amazing for you because you'll get so much
Mhm.
hands-on knowledge from hanging out with those guys. Like it's crazy.
And Clint talks to Frank all the time, so he knows Frank. And I'm talking about Tank Radio.
Yeah.
Frank.
Okay. Well, I mean, yeah. If you know Frank, I mean, there you go.
Yes. I mean, everyone needs to be involved in ham whale. I mean, it could help be. I mean, especially in especially the yawn generation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. So, yeah, I mean, from my point of view right now, where you're at, go get yourself a VHF UHF radio if you don't already have that. It sounds like you're looking at a potential Motorola. Frank, I could not. My eBay seller, I think he might be done, which is kind of a bummer. I'd have to like ping Shane to get his best recommendation. But if you've got one, why don't you DM Clint so he can get that, and then Clint, keep hammering away at your general. But before you get there, you got that 7300. Put up a 10-meter dipole Put up a 10-meter dipole outside. Build yourself a 10-meter dipole. Super easy, super cheap.
Unfortunately, I don't have a suggested dealer to go to. But
All
you know,
right. I'm gonna
if you
text
just-
Shane.
if you just say Shane's name 3 times, or his call sign 3 times, he's like Beetlejuice. He'll show up.
Hold on, let me.
So yeah, I mean, I always want a Motorola radio. It works good for me, like it's almost my birthday, it's almost my birthday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
Yeah, and also I also have a XP XP 7550, but it's the problem with it is one with this one is the knob. The knob, the white, the black knob. It broke.
okay. I mean, that's shouldn't be too hard to fix, though, right?
Not hard to fix at all, really.
No, no.
If you don't feel comfortable with it, though, look up your closest Motorola authorized dealer and have them fix it. They'll charge you for labor and parts, but it would be worth it if it's difficult to deal with.
Yeah. All right, Clint. I'm
Well,
gonna. Oh, somebody gonna say something?
thank you, Jaws.
Okay.
I will be listening, and thanks so much, Jaws. I
Yeah,
appreciate
no problem.
you.
And feel free to dive back in if you got a question later. But I want to make sure we get through all the first timers. And thanks for your questions. Those were all really good too. Thanks for doing that.
Hey, Josh.
Hey, who's next? Oh, it's Brett Pampel. He's not a. Oh, who was that? Sorry, there's somebody new there.
There was someone else probably new. I'll make a comment to help him with POTA
Okay.
after.
Okay, good. Go ahead. Who is the next person who's here for the first time? Like to say hi or ask a question?
Hey, Josh. I was just going to mention there's an HRO in Plano.
Mm-hmm. I hear they make tackle boxes out there. Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. Go check out the HRO too. That'd be good. All right. Who is here for the first time that would like to say hi or ask a question? Come now on the Discord first.
Hey, Josh.
Hey, I saw a Scout Medic. How you doing?
Doing good. Hey, name here is Ken. Getting back on the air. It's been 2007 since I last had a station set up.
Nice.
And still have my FT101, and it's good to go for HF. I'm putting up a 40-meter dipole outside right now.
Okay.
But I travel for work about 50% of the time. So I'm looking for something that's lightweight enough to carry with me when I do my work travels, and I do fly for these trips.
Perfect.
But also something that will that I can take out in the RV and go camping. I'm thinking I might need a 2-radio solution here.
Oh, you're already speaking my language. Actually, that lines up nicely with the topic, at least the question I'm going to ask everybody on the Discord. So, of course, are we talking VHF, UHF, HF only, and what is your budget?
So I've been looking at the ICOM 705 just because it is VHF and HF for taking out in the RV, but mainly for work travel, it'll probably be HF only just for the size.
Yeah. So I often will carry that radio, and it will do that role exactly as you just put it, just fine. You can buy an amplifier for that QRP radio to get 100 watts out. There are a couple of companies that have HF or amplifiers that work just fine for that. Like the Shegu amp will do 100 watts out. I've been running the Micro PA50 for a couple of months now, and the Micro PA50 is awesome. It's like a 50-watt amplifier. It's dead simple. It's RF sensing. In fact, I'll pull it up on eBay, and I'll drop a link for it. And I don't even have the Plus model. I just have the Micro PA50, the standard one. It's like $175, $180, and you get 50 watts out, which on HF, that's great. That works oftentimes almost as good as a 100-watt radio, because if you think about it, it's only half an S unit. To get double that is the half an S unit that you would get if you went to 100 watts. So most of the time you can get done with 50 what you'd probably be able to get done on 100 watts, full size, barefoot transmitter. So it's pretty good. I actually really like it. I've been having a great time with it, and they're dead cheap. And RF sensing is like, it's great. It makes it really easy.
Look at the link I just dropped, Josh, in the chat.
Well, I'm not going to watch it right now. Do you just want to?
No, I'm just saying look at the link, not watch the link.
You dropped the video.
Yeah, just look at the title. I'm sorry. That's probably a better way to say it.
Do you want me to?
Oh, you don't have to bring it up.
Micro PA 100. So they have 100.
Yeah,
Is it much bigger though?
No, it's not.
Because
it's
the 50
a little longer.
Is perfect. The 50 is like a perfect size. I can put that in the ICOM backpack. I put the tuner on one side and the amp on the other side, and I can put little accessories in front of it. It fits so beautifully. But a 100-watt amplifier sounds crazy. That's crazy in a relative form factor. Yeah,
the one that I actually like to carry is the KXPA 100, but that's not a cheap amplifier.
No, that's not. Yeah, you told me the way it posted on Discord. You were telling me, just read the title, and I saw the channel name first, and it's The Coach in Artificiale Intelligente. Like,
yeah.
Oh, that makes perfect sense, Don. I know exactly what you're talking about.
The thing is, that's the guy from China. I don't know why it's posted from that other or from the other language, but if I'm not mistaken, the guy in the video is actually speaking Chinese. So I couldn't follow it. I just watched it to see, because he actually puts the tiny SA on it and measures his harmonics and all that stuff.
So let me go back to Scout Medic. Scout Medic, are you mainly traveling with like a rollerboard suitcase kind of thing? Are you backpack traveling? Are you hiking? Like what? I don't know what are we doing out there?
So it's a rollerboard with a briefcase with my computer gear, and the work computer is locked down, so I can't add anything on it. If I want to do digital modes, it'll have to be from my iPad.
Okay. Yeah, you can work with some of that. There's not a ton of digital modes that are iOS native, but you can. Okay, so staying with the 705, if you go get Marcus's SDR control application for the 705, you can remote into it, and you can do FT8 in the application and a myriad of other digital modes and other things with the SDR control application. And it will use the 705's wireless LAN connectivity to do the networking.
Comment.
Go ahead, comment.
I believe you can also Bluetooth with the 705 and do the same thing.
You can't. Well, they might have improved it, but I literally sat on a call with Ray Novak on speakerphone trying to make that work. And we were not able to successfully do it. This is like when the 705 came out, though. And I think part of the reason is the Bluetooth latency that you have to deal with. The wireless LAN speeds are much faster. So remember, the 705 can function as an access point. So your iPad can connect to the 705's access point and then use that remotely, which works great.
So that with the PAC-10 should be just fine then.
Well, with the PAC-10, yeah, and if you go get yourself a POTA 20 or the little dude mast, they fit in a rollerboard perfectly, and you'd have a full station like right there. You just need a battery.
Awesome, sounds great. Hey, one more question.
Yeah,
I'm installing the 40-meter dipole on one end of the house, 45 feet across. I have a TV antenna pointing perpendicular to the dipole.
Okay.
Will I have any issues with RFI and getting into the TV? And if so, what kind of filter should I install?
How close is the antenna?
45 feet.
Oh, you might, but remember, like all TV is digital now, so the interference that you get from analog amateur radio into digital is like nothing. So you should not experience anything.
Perfect. Thanks so much.
Yeah. If you do, like, you could put a toroid on the coax for the TV antenna just to take the common mode off of it, but you should not experience a problem.
Great. Thanks so much. Have a good night.
Yeah, that was a great question. All right. Who else is here for the first time that would like to ask a question? Come now. All right. Well, we might have gotten through all the newcomers on Discord. So if you are on the YouTube side of the house and you're a first timer and you'd like to ask a question, just make sure you write question or at Ham Radio Crash Course and go ahead and ask your question. Don't ask to ask a question. Just ask it. It's okay. Go nuts. Okay. Frank, were you gonna say something?
Yeah. Am I keyed up? Yeah, I'm keyed up. Okay.
Yep.
That tells you how bad the lag is here. I saw myself key up. I went, unkeyed because you were still talking. And then, yeah. Anyway, I actually have a question, and it includes 2 images to visualize what's going on. So on 20 and 40. Okay, let me preface this. Yaesu FT710, 75 feet of coax, in-fed half wave, clear on the other side of the property, over 75 feet, well, 75 feet of cable away from the offender. Coax chokes, all the RFI chokes that you can think of. Everything. I've done everything. But my Panasonic TV, it's older, but it's early gen flat screen TV. It still had a little bulk to it, but it's turning into flat screen type TV, Panasonic. It creates this horrible noise on 20 and 40. And as soon as I unkey here, I'm going to drop screenshots of what it looks like on the FT710 display. I've tried everything besides, even the Poseidon antenna from Coffee and Ham Radio set up even further out in the yard.
The antenna isn't going to change it. You're picking up the RFI on the antenna.
You say old. Is it plasma?
Well, the TV is here in the shack with the radio, but the TV and the coax are on separate sides of the shack, and everything has chokes galore on it.
But hear what I'm saying. Hear what I'm saying. If making your antenna worse lowers the RFI, then you're also making your ham radio experience worse, right? Your antenna is picking up the RF that's generated by the television. You have to fix the television being the problem. So hold on. Everybody will get in there.
I can turn the TV off, and the for some reason they show up as BMP images, but I just dropped them in Discord. They're in the live chat.
Okay, Frank, hold on.
Yeah.
So you said you've tried everything. So what have you tried? Can you explain?
Short of I have literally choked everything. I have moved the antenna to different positions. The only way it goes away is when I literally turn the TV off. And that's shown in the second screenshot. You can see where it gets shut off.
Is your television by chance one of those ones that it has a 3-prong plug, but there's nothing connected on the third prong? Have you opened the back of it?
I have not opened the back of it, but it does have a PC-style plug to it for power.
Yeah, so a lot of televisions of that era, I have one. I opened the back of it, and it had that, the 3-prong computer plug, and the ground was not connected to anything. It was not connected to the chassis of the television at all. So I have not done that yet, but that would be the next step, is to try to throw it onto the chassis. That might help. You've already used ferrites, I'm assuming, on the power plug, right?
Every single cable unwrapped at least twice.
Is your TV by chance connected via network cable?
No, it is too early for network. It just has, it still has RCA on it, but it also has HDMI, so it's right there in that era.
Have you seen how cheap televisions are these days?
That was going to be the next step here eventually, yes. But that's down the road. I have other things ahead of that. If I want to play 20 and 40, I just turn the TV off.
Yeah,
question.
Jody, hold on. I'll go to the questions. Hold on. I was already a couple of questions. So Jody said never hurts to check the outlet to see if the outlet is grounded. Might be 3-prong plug not wired up. So check your.
Yeah, that is grounded, and I saw James. No, it is not 4K. You're in 720 on it right now, actually, Joel.
Okay, you got to get a new TV, man. Okay, so there was a number of people that have comments. I think I saw James first, then I saw Levi. So James, go ahead.
I asked it in the chat. You're good. Go ahead, Josh.
Okay, Levi, you're next. Go for it, man.
Is the TV old enough to be plasma? Because it sounds like it's very old, and early gen flat screens are plasma. If it's plasma, there's nothing you can do.
There's nothing you can do.
Yeah, that you're talking about massive spark gaps in the near field, which is not ever getting mitigated.
I dropped some images. They're BMPs. That's a Yaesu thing. That's a different story.
No, it's the TV plasma.
Is it a plasma technology TV?
I don't know. I'd have to
What's the model of the TV?
I'd have to get on the backside of the TV, and that requires moving about half the shack to do.
Well, if it's plasma, you cannot do anything to mitigate that.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do.
It sounds like it's old enough that it may very well be plasma, because those images you post very much look like plasma, look like the output of a plasma generator. So I'd say new TV.
Yeah.
So thanks,
also, be careful with chassis on televisions of that era. The chassis can be hot. 1,500 or 25,000 volts. It would be up there.
Oh yeah, I would be very careful opening it if I did that at all.
Well, it's not like you'd have to discharge a cathode ray tube, right? It's not like a CRT.
Right.
So at least you got that.
Plasmas are modified CRTs.
Well, assuming I'm assuming it's not plasma, because that would be like late 90s, early 2000s.
It's newer than. I'd probably put it somewhere between 05 and 2015. You know, that's it's new. I'll see if I can find a model number. Tear half the shack apart.
Like, you could literally go to Walmart and probably walk out for $200 and get a TV that's bigger than that and has better resolution and better refresh.
I just got a 37-inch for $234.
Yeah, that's the TVs. It was shocking to me. I have the same television. My primary TV is a 60-inch, and I bought it in 2015. We've had it forever. And I was like, hey, this is fine. But I was like at the Best Buy, I was looking at sound bars. I got a new sound bar for it. But the price of televisions, and for what you get for the price now, it's crazy.
Here, Josh and everyone else, ignore the refresh rate and whatnot on it. But I just dropped a photo of it literally with you on it, because I have that. I cannot run Chrome while running Discord, so I have you over.
Oh, that's a big boy. That
yeah.
could be plasma, actually.
That's a plasma.
Yeah.
You can tell the difference in the like grid coloring, where the grids are colored. That's a plasma.
You got a plasma TV, man. You got to. Sorry, dude.
So time to upgrade is
yeah.
short version.
Cover out the window.
Or cover it in tinfoil, and
you could just make sure that you don't like put it in the front yard and then your neighbor picks it up and starts using it next door to you, creating the exact same RFI. You gotta kill
Take
it
it directly to the landfill.
I was literally about to type that, Josh.
Yeah, you literally got to go like full Office Space on that thing in a field.
Yeah, let's put it this way. It was secondhand from somebody that didn't want it anymore, and this was before I was doing HF a lot more at home. And then I noticed the problem on 20 and 40, and I went, oh, well, maybe I can get an answer on this one.
Nothing like our AV nerd crew that we have that's rolling around. Sonic nailed it. He's like, it's a Panasonic Viera. It's plasma.
Yeah, thank you, Sonic.
He knew it immediately. Yeah. It's plasma. Get rid of it.
Well, that answers that. I see. This is why I come to the Ham Radio Crash Course Hive Mind during the after chat.
Also, it makes me look really yellow. Like I'm very jaundiced in that image.
Yeah. That's the refresh rate between the TV and the iPhone camera.
Gotcha. All right.
I have other TVs. I have 1, 2, 3 TVs in my room.
All right. Okay. Last call. Anybody here for the first time would like to say hi or ask a question? Come now.
Josh, there was a question in YouTube from someone.
Oh.
I don't know if you saw it.
Oh, question from MB2452. Question for a new ham. What 1 or 2 HF antennas would be top contenders for replacing an end-fed half-wave? Antenna cost $1,000. I would like 160 through 6 meters. I do WSJT-X and single sideband. A full wave loop, my guy. A full wave 160 meter loop.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know how to get you 6 through 160 in the most easy way other than a full wave loop. That's going to be the best way. You could do a DX Commander. How much? So MB2452, which is obviously a robot. So careful. We got robots watching right now. How much land do you have to put up an antenna? Because a full wave loop, you need a huge amount of land to put up a decent 160 meter antenna. For Helgi, don't say I have a question. Just write question and ask it. We'll take it live. You don't have to ask. It's okay. We're here to answer your questions. Go nuts. Or say at Ham Radio Crash Course. Yeah, so if you're asking questions on YouTube too, it's faster if you join us on the Discord, and then you just join the voice chat, and you set a speaker and a microphone and a PTT button, and then you can talk to us directly. It's a lot faster. Oh, he has 10 acres. All right, the robot's got 10 acres. Yeah, full wave loop.
On 10 acres, you may be able to set up a 160 meter doublet also.
160 meter doublet would be pretty sweet. Yeah, that'd be pretty sweet.
I mean, actually, you could just do both of them if you have 10 acres, feed them both with ladder line, and Bob's your uncle.
I feel like sometimes the homes on like large acreages are at like close to the edges of the plot, and a full way, like a 160 meter delta loop, you're gonna have to put your feed line somewhere in the middle there. That's why with a full wave loop, you can feed it at the different spots of the loop, and you're generally okay. That's why I tell people it's like, oh, go with the full wave loop if you can. But I get the point.
Unless it's farmland and you've got to put the masts up yourself, then it can be difficult. That's the reason I got the land I did, was because of the trees, and then I can suspend from the trees rather than having to put up like masts all the way down where over, because some of the farmland out here, they have clear cut it, and then there's nothing to get it up high in the air. And by the way, I dropped a link to that delta loop that I did a video on a few weeks ago. Yeah, I literally can do 6 through 160 on that thing with with an antenna tuner.
Delta loop. Okay.
Yeah, and it's I bought it from DX Engineering, so it is a purchased antenna, but I don't have it up. I've only got it up about 4.5 feet, and yet I'm doing 160 all over the country.
Really? That's impressive.
Yeah, I'm completely shocked. It's supposed to stop at 40 meters, but I'm doing 160 on it.
Because dimensionally, that's a pretty big delta loop that you have. I'm a little surprised it does 160. I did not expect that.
Yeah, I didn't either.
That's pretty good, though. All right, so let me go back here. So MB2452, I think that for you, I think you should think about having multiple antennas, because efficiency-wise, having an antenna that does all the bands is seldom usually like an effective way to go. Like, you could build yourself a 160-meter long wire antenna, and you might get relatively good results on other bands, and it would work okay on 160. But you could also build yourself a fan dipole for 20 through 10 meters. And that antenna is going to be a lot easier for you to set up closer to your home and orient it however you want to orient it. Particularly if you're talking wire antennas, there's no reason not to have multiple antennas. There's no reason to have one when you have switching devices that you can easily switch between them. When you're switching between, there's, other than like a very specific convenience of having to click a little box to turn between antennas, you can easily run multiple antennas to cover multiple bands and not have any problem.
I guess he said he has to clear trees. So what are the height of the trees as well? Because, a wire antenna, like you're saying, might also be like one DX Commander with an 80 and a 160 wire. I mean, that's pretty much what I use on 8 acres.
Yeah, a 160 meter end fed might be just fine, and just send that wire going out to as high up as you can get it, and run that thing out across as many trees as you can. That's totally fine. Yeah.
Don't you have to load those? Because like I've got an 80 meter in-fed half wave again, a commercial one, and it's got a loading coil on it to bring, I think it's 10 meters in.
Well, okay. That just to me says put up a 10 meter dipole then. If you don't get the lower bands, a 10 meter dipole's easy.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Yeah, I would just say, okay, screw that. I'd rather have a fully resonant length of wire on 160 and as many bands as I could pull out of that. And then for all the high stuff, if I got to set up a dipole, no big deal. Those are easy. That's super easy.
160 meter fan dipole.
160 meter fan dipole. That's right. Yeah.
So he's asking for a link to the Delta Loop, and he has a lot of recent growth trees under 40 feet tall, and he also mentioned that he has wire limitations from the wife unit.
Well, then I don't know what to tell you. Then 160
I linked
is a
the
band.
dipole.
A 160. Well, but that's still still a full. A dipole is still a half wavelength.
Yeah, it's a half.
Right? So
Yeah.
you still have a lot of wire. 160 meter dipole is still very big, right?
Yeah,
so,
and
let me go back. MB2452. If you have not used 160 and you've never been on 160, it might not be the thing that you think it is. It's not that popular of a band, and if you can't put up the wire for it, it's okay. Just get 80 through 10 or 80 through 6 or 40 through 6 or whatever, right? If you really have a problem putting up that amount of wire, then just don't have that band. It's okay. I don't have any of those bands.
you can, just like when I'm doing with the Delta Loop, it's a 40 meter Delta Loop, but I can tune it to 160 with a tuner.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean,
Also,
it doesn't have to be resonant is my point.
Tuning doesn't always equal efficiency, though. You're burning a lot into heat.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. But like I said, even though the one I'm running is a 40 meter Delta Loop, I'm tuning in 160 and I'm getting all over the country. Now, do you want to go worldwide? That's a completely different issue.
I will add this because it's my own personal experience. Take it for what it's worth. I run a 6 through 80 in-fed half wave. I'm planning to replace it anyway. But I have a jumper cable from the end of the in-fed half wave that connects to the lower level gutters of my house that then gives me, it's a little high, but a 1.7 on 160. So I have a jumper wire. It's what is the car wire, Don? 14 gauge, 16 gauge, something like that. Small little jumper wire from the end of the in-fed half wave to the gutters, and that gives me 160. So you don't have to have a whole bunch of wire either.
Yeah. I mean, I guess if you're new-ish in HF, I'd focus on like 10 through 20 and try to get 40. That's what I would say is like your antenna goals. If you got
Especially in this solar cycle.
yeah, if you got the space for more, then okay, add to that. But if you're already getting 10 through 20 plus 40, then you're already killing it right now. You're going to have a great time.
So, Josh, he just came back with a comment. Problem with wire is visibility, not land. Need stealth if possible.
If you use a black wire, you will not notice it that much. Yeah.
Oh, you go.
No, go ahead, Levi.
I was gonna say I live in an apartment complex and have a 160-meter loop made with enameled copper, and you can't see it. You put any wire at height, and ta-da, it disappears.
They make green shielded wire. Soda beams, their stealth wire stuff that they have is it's green jacketed if you want to get that. Yeah, okay. Let's go with that. Let's go with that for now. All right. Next one from Jesus G. Question. K6CS here. What?
I already, the POTA in a park, I sort of answered that one. Lee and I have been going back and forth.
Okay. Question. Anyone here with an AR/DV1 that has repaired a dead micro USB port? I don't even know what an AR/DV1 is. What is that? I'm going to pull it up.
Well, Boondock Echo is in the chat, so he can tell you.
Oh, is that the it's a scanner.
That's Mark.
No, I'm trying to still look up the radio. It's a scanner.
Did somebody say Boondock Echo?
Who makes this? What is this? It's not a scanner, it's a receiver. You know what this looks like? This looks like the Vertex receiver. Who's got one of these? Does somebody have one of these?
Yeah, I did. Mark and I were chatting. It's a digital decoder that really has no RF section. You can hook it up to another radio to receive the RF and then decode different digital modes on it. Yeah, I told Mark I sold mine.
Oh, wow. That's wild. Well, I don't have an answer for you on that one. I'm sorry. All right, Bro Weaver with a great radio wives' tale. Ham radio crash course. Is it safe to disconnect your coax and put the end in a glass jar for lightning protection? No. You still want to get the coax connection away from other things that the lightning could damage, because lightning is chaotic. It will try and find the fastest course to ground, and if that means jumping into your electronics and then going to ground, it will do that. There's people who have put their coax in a glass jar, and the coax ended up jumping around their shack and bounced around as it dropped out power into different things and damaged stuff along the way. Let's see. Somebody, Helgi says, I'm a new ham. I'm on Discord. Are you on? Helgi, I see you. Go ahead and hit PTT. Your little circle is not lighting up. So the reason for that is you might be, since you joined us so quickly, there's a 5-minute timeout just for flood protection, because we get bot stormed every once in a while. So if you give us 5 minutes, you might. I don't see how when I talk, it's green.
They've been in here a little longer than 5 now.
Check your PTT key. If you have it set to Control or Shift or Alt, it specifically does left or right. So whatever one you push, you may need to push that as well.
Well, the other thing is to go with the little geared at the bottom and go to voice and video and test it yourself, because you can go in there and literally test it. Make sure that the mic and speakers are set correctly as you expect them to be, and all of that in there, and test it there, because it's really difficult for us to help you out here.
It looks like the YouTube channel saying they're on mobile. He hasn't set up the PTT button.
Not to mention he has to be on this screen as well.
Well, I
Yeah.
don't. We don't see it. We don't see it popping off. So, all right. Let me check something really fast.
Hey, Josh.
Yep.
So, I thought something. So like, I need help with my D-Saw,
Okay.
and I have a ICOM ID51A, and I need help with my D-Saw. So it's so confusing.
Okay, we might not be able to like get you set up completely right now, but what do you have working and what's not working?
So the problem I have is like, be honest, I don't know how many do you want me like show you a normal time?
I'm sorry. What's the question?
Do you want me to show you like a long time is I'm not busy?
Well, it depends. I'm always busy. So, I mean, this is the right place to be, our Discord. If you go to #hamhelp and ask your question. But like, do you have nothing working on D-Star right now?
Yes. I mean,
Okay. So the first steps on getting set up with D-Star is you have to set up, you have to match your call sign to an ID. Have you done that step yet?
yes. I have a demo ID.
You have a DMR ID. No, not DMR, D-Star.
Oh, D-Saw ID. I might have a D-Saw ID. Yes.
Well, you have to have that for it to work correctly. You have to register your call sign for D-Star. And then once you do that, then you'll be able to use the repeaters that are in your area.
So what happened is I wrestled 2 times and I should wrestle 1 time.
Yeah, are you able to PTT the repeaters? Can you actually get into the repeaters?
No.
Right, so you probably don't have yourself registered correctly.
Yes.
So the way you do that is a lot of the repeaters can be used for registration purposes, and they just dropped the link. Thule just dropped the link, so if you want to go check that out to check and see if you're registered, check that link. All right. All right.
So it's easy to. I mean, I the guy who owns like D-Saw, like who owns the company, the D-Saw guy, like emailed me, like he like sent me an email.
Well, there's nobody who really owns the D-Star. There's no D-Star company, right? So what do you mean? You got an email from somebody that owns a repeater?
He sent me the ID.
Oh, you cut out there. I didn't hear any of that. He sent you what? Uh-oh. Am I breaking up or is it him?
No, it was definitely him.
He's gone.
All right, Clinton. Well, when you get back, so D-Stars, not to say that we can't do that, but it's one of those things where we're basically going to spend the rest of the after chat doing D-Star. But first thing you have to do is register your call sign. You have to do that. And there are a ton of good tutorials on YouTube that will help you do that if you've not done that. Go see if you can set that up. Yeah, don't try and use a repeater without registering first. That's the first step. And then you got to make sure that's good. Make sure that's all good. And then it all gets much easier after that, I promise. It's actually very straightforward. Let's see. So K8EDX newbie question. When your antenna has multiple bands, when you switch bands on your radio, do you tune every time? There's a very good question with a subtly nuanced answer. It depends on the type of antenna. So if it's a random wire antenna using a 9-to-1 unun, for instance, yes, you would retune. If it is an end-fed half wave, then you would not have the tuner on at all. It would be cut correctly to be resident on the bands that it would operate on. And then for bands that it technically can't operate on, you could use the tuner for that, but not necessarily recommended. So it's going to depend on the makeup of your antenna. A dipole, you should never need to retune a dipole. Even an off-center fed dipole, you won't have to retune that. There are some cases where you might be on the high edge or the low edge of the tuning of that antenna that you might have to engage the tuner, but most of the time for resonant antennas, you will not need to do that.
Same thing with the DX commanders. I think my all my wires are cut and they're all 1.4 to 1 or lower.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you shouldn't have to. For a lot of multiband antennas, you shouldn't have to. It's going to depend on the antenna, though. Okay, hope that helped.
So I actually have a quick question for you, Josh.
Go ahead.
Do you actually want that the tube tester? Because I'll mail it to you if you can.
No.
If you want to shoot me a
No, probably not.
It's just sitting in the basement of the store. I bought out a basement a while ago from a guy, and it was just down there, and he was just like, "Take it."
Oh man, I feel like I'm not gonna put it to use, and it would just be storing. It'd just be taking up
I don't
space.
even use it myself.
Yeah. No, I think I would just. It would be. What's that?
If I may, John, a good suggestion. If you go to any of these swap meets, especially the smaller club ones, there's generally always someone there with tubes that doesn't know if they're good or not. You could sell it, whatever, to one of those guys so that they could test their tubes and go, yeah, this tube's good, that tube, no, garbage. That's an idea.
The issue is I don't even know if it works. Like, I literally just bought it and it's been sitting in a basement for 5 years.
Okay, fair enough. Sell it as, unknown condition and let them deal with it.
Well, if you take it to a Hamfest, you can give it to those guys that test radios, and they may be able to fix it so they can use it.
So Paul has a good point. So you need a tube tester to test the tube tester so it can test tubes. Yes, Paul.
That's it.
Question.
All right. Yeah, go ahead. Question.
So I live in a condo and I would like to have a base station radio, and I think I can sell it to the board if I have like the emergency communication stuff going, or I'm part of a emergency communication system. How do I do that?
Join Aries or Races.
Okay. Is there a form you fill out for that?
Well, you'd have to find out if there is a group in your area.
Okay.
That's the first step. Otherwise, I wouldn't necessarily tie it to your membership of a group. You could just say that with this equipment, I can communicate and receive emergency traffic at any time, right? And that's literally what you can do.
Oh, okay. So don't necessarily tie it to like an Aries or a Races, but like.
Well, I think you're setting yourself up for you're creating arbitrary requirements that they're just going to use to like hassle you about. You know what I mean? Like don't worry so much about that. Just get the station set up by it being an emergency communication station, and then anything you add to that is just going to cement its value, if that makes sense.
For sure. Yeah. Okay. Cool. I'll take a stab at it and we'll see what happens.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I wouldn't tie anything specifically to my membership of a particular club or anything like that, because I feel like that's just too easy to get manipulated by the board. I don't know why I feel that way, but I wouldn't want to mess with that.
Or as Prep Ham Paul says, just get yourself on the board, and then you can just make a vote and institute rules to get ham radio approved in the HOA.
I mean, for sure, I may or may not be on the board, but I'm one of 5 voting members, so it's a hard sell sometimes. I'm also trying to sell it on the point of like anybody else who may be a ham could use the space.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if anybody works in like a multi-ham station type thing, but if you do, I'd welcome comments on that.
Go ahead, comment.
Just a point with today's noise environment. If you live in a block of flats or a thing, it isn't really worth doing at home. It's only worth really setting up some kind of VHF station so that you can hear that. Trying to do HF from a block of flats or an apartment building just seems to be a great deal of loss. You'd be much better putting something in your vehicle and going and doing POTA like Josh and everybody else.
Oh, for sure. I'm trying to get back into that. I had my stuff stolen a while back and still trying to afford a radio to get back into that.
Oh, no. I hate to hear that. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I had it all packed up for a POTA, and then somebody jacked the car, and that's just how it goes.
That sucks. That sucks big time. Sorry about that.
I guess it happens. But yeah, we have enough like roof space for me to be able to do like an off-center fed dipole 160 meter if I wanted to. So I think that would be a lot of fun to set up.
That would be pretty cool. All right.
Thank you.
Good question. Yeah. Well, I'm having my troubles again. I don't know what the deal is with WSJT-X, but it's something to do with the Flex connecting to WSJT-X. I was using PyMaster for a while, and PyMaster seems to be half of the cause of the problem. I'm not sure what the deal is.
SliceMaster, you mean?
SliceMaster, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so what was it? Last week, Eric had you turn something on and off. Have you done that yet?
That was me. It was the DAX.
I did the DAX.
You
know what though? You had me trigger it from the app. That's right. Hold on. We'll do it live. Here we go. And on. We'll see what that does.
Did you shake large blunt instrument at it in order to threaten it? If it doesn't work, you'll get hit.
I mean, I probably should at this point. No, that didn't seem to improve things. Yeah. Seriously, right? Question, very specific one. Where do I find spare clamps for the whips of the AV18 HT high tower? The AV18 HT high tower. Does anybody have that antenna?
I'll comment.
Go ahead, comment.
It's an MFJ product, so good luck with that.
If you reach out to MFJ, they still are trying to gut their part section, so they may have what you need. However, I'm not going to promise it. I talked to Martin pretty recently, and they've got a lot of stuff going.
Yeah.
So, good luck. Have fun.
Plus, also being MFJ, it's either a clone of something or something else is a clone of it. So just go through image searches, honestly, till you find something that looks close enough.
It's a clone of some of the Roan 25 or 15 things. I'd have to check, but
yeah, it's a high gain, isn't it? It's
yeah. I mean, most of the time it's like L metal. It's just like angle iron, really, if I remember correctly. I'm not looking at the plans for it right now, but yeah, it's pretty easy construction.
Are you suggesting this is an excuse to own a bandsaw?
Yes, this is an excuse to own a bandsaw and a good drill press.
Yeah.
Well, this is frustrating.
Sometimes I have to shut the whole radio down and everything and restart everything.
I just did that. I hadn't done it in it had been running for like a month, and there was no problem, and now it's like freaking out. I guess I have to do that.
Okay, so Josh, I have a weird one for you that it might help, it might be nothing. Shut down WSJT-X completely. Turn off the one in DAX. Turn on the one in DAX, and then start up WSJT-X.
A WAN? What is a WAN?
WAN, O-N-E.
One.
The number
like
one.
You won something, Frank.
One. Okay, got it.
Hey, Josh.
Hold on. Let me bring it back up. Try it. See, we're helping me help everybody. All right.
Especially since I just put a down payment on an 8600, so this is interesting.
So turn off the one. Yeah, I've already done that. It didn't change anything.
Okay, so turn off the one, turn it back on, and then start WSJT-X up.
Oh, okay. Let's see.
Yeah, by the way, I've tried all of these things and had them work at one time or another.
Yeah,
Not always,
it's a little fussy. I don't understand what the deal is.
Well, but yeah, when it starts working, it works like you said. For
it works. It works fine.
Time.
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden it'll like.
Yeah, because it's not decoding the signals correctly in the waterfall. So there's some audio chain problem I'm having because it's not decoding anything. Okay, we're just gonna restart the whole radio. Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
Hey, really, outside of saying, have you tried a factory reset? I would like to point out, I'd be remiss at this point if I didn't say that I do not have these problems with Smart SDR for Mac.
I don't either. Yeah, it's a good point. I've actually thought about doing some live streams back in the other office where I have the Mac Smart SDR running because it works really well. It's totally painless.
And there is the opposite of that because I read on Facebook today, and I really wish I could submit this to Leia as a sad ham thing, but anyway, this guy just absolutely launches into the guy that does the Mac software. And he says, look, this is it. I'm done with Flex Radio. This Mac software just completely doesn't work. I'm never using it again. And this 6600 is going away. So, folks, it's for sale, and I'm out of the business.
Wow.
Okay.
You know, and in the comments, of course, that come back.
What a take my ball and go home moment.
Exactly. But, you know, the people that are answering him are no better. I mean.
Oh, no. Yeah, they're just fanning the fire. Yeah, they're just pouring straight gasoline on the flames. Yeah, because, like, so you gotta consider, like, we're all in this together, right? Everybody watching. This is a technical hobby. It is hard. There are things that you will be frustrated with the entirety of your ham radio career. You will always be frustrated by something. It's inevitable. And so the best thing you can do is, one, Get good at taking criticism, and by criticism, people telling you the same things that you might have already tried, but they might ask you to try it just a subtly different, and you might be surprised. They might be the solution to the problem, but you got to be willing to just get total dumb with it. Don't get ego involved, and just try everything. Because if you're that frustrated, the best thing you can do is just say, "Look, I can't do this anymore. I don't know what's going on. So help me out." And hams are really welcome. They're really willing to help. They don't always do it in the most like soft bedside manner way. Like they'll just be kind of like clinical, like, and it could be frustrating to a point. I get that, but that's just kind of how it is. Like, we're all in it together. I promise you, we're all frustrated all the time. We're all thinking about something that's not working correctly.
Yeah, one thing I would say, especially in ham radio, but it's true in a lot of things in life, never, ever become a fanboy of anything.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Don, I'm a fanboy of you.
Hashtag
Yasu is the best.
As a fanboy of Mac and Motorola, hello.
Well, I'm a fanboy of Boondock Echo. Does that count?
Yes, it does.
Did I hear Boondock Echo, Don?
Indeed. All right.
You did.
So here is the question of today, and yeah, people are like, "What's an island radio?" So I'm curious if you were to go. So let's say you were going to book a trip to maybe it's a exotic far off island in the Pacific. I don't really care. It's just an island that you're traveling to. I don't care where it is in the world. What would be the radio or radios that you would take with you on that island excursion? Maybe it's a little mini DXpedition. What would you bring?
KX3.
KX3.
Josh, you forgot your first rule is budget, please.
No, there's no budget. It's your radio. I'm not going to pick your radio.
The answer, and the only correct answer, is a K3 or a KX3.
Why not a K4?
K4s have a little bit of a saltwater problem that they're working on right now. Some of the recent DXpeditions have had them fail, and they require rebuilding on the fly.
Holy crap, really?
It's like small things, like a pin diode goes out or something. So when Eric and them send them out, they literally send a bag, say, hey, if something fails, swap this out real quick. It's super easy to fix.
Oh.
I wasn't expecting how good of an answer that was.
Yeah, that unfortunately sounds like an S-Bit-X, but...
That was a good answer. Okay, so we got a K3 or a KX3. Actually, 2 for a KX3. That was what Don said, KX3. What else? What else would you bring?
101DX, just because why not?
101DX? You're going to travel with that?
I mean, if you're stuck on an island, you may as well.
I didn't say it was like you were deserted like the professor and Marianne. I said you're planning a trip to go to an island.
I thought this was an unplanned trip.
Well, if you want to frame it that way, so you're a castaway on an island, and you're like, well, God damn it, I'm gonna have the 101. Okay, sure.
Yeah, the one thing I would suggest on something like that is and one of the reasons I said KX3 is I would definitely be taking the 100-watt amp. Because when you go to Hawaii, Josh, you really need that 100 watts, or we're not going to hear you.
Nah. Think so?
Oh, absolutely. Chuck did it. Chuck went out there and he tried. We couldn't hear him. He was running I believe his KX2.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna have the 50-watt amp. I'm gonna bring that.
Oh yeah, then you probably be okay.
I think I'll be all right. I'll be all right for FT8 and CW, but maybe not single sideband. I don't know. I think it's also going to depend on the antenna that I bring and all that stuff, of course. Okay, so I restarted the radio, and now everybody's coming in 5.9. So there you go. Who knows? Who knows why? Yeah. I am not using Slice Master, though. I skipped Slice Master.
So
yeah,
they all fix their problems.
Yeah, they fix themselves. You just restart them.
Now, one thing you should try with that radio, Josh, is CW Skimmer.
Ooh, like the FL Digi CW skimmer, or the standalone application.
The standalone app where because you can set a slice up and just run
Yes.
Skimmer, and then you can be part of the RBN.
That's true. I could be that person.
Yeah.
How about MASH? How about MASH tech, like MASH? You know, the MASH. You know, like the survival. So you know, like either like on a island or a survival place.
Yeah. What radio would you bring in that case?
Something liable, something can like heavy, like will heavy duty helm warrior.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Like
sure,
mine.
but like it. Remember, you're gonna have to. You're going on a trip. You're going on a trip in your favorite, airplane ship, and you're gonna have to pay to get this thing there, right? So, like, what would you bring? Radio. So I think we got KX3 that was mentioned. A K3, good choice. I would probably bring the 705. I don't be damned about the saltwater. I don't know how that's gonna go. But what about antennas then? What are you gonna do for antennas?
Well, maybe make my own antennas. Maybe find any antennas to bring.
Mm-hmm.
I would bring the entire car set. So the entire coffee and ham radio set, all of one of each.
Built by me, right?
No, I want to solder them correctly, Frank.
Lobbed by Frank.
I mean, if you're going to be on a Pacific island or any island, the good answer is bring a vertical with a large radio field and throw all the radios in the salt water. Congrats. Your ground plane is quite literally infinite.
There you go.
What happened if like
got an island that won't work on?
So what happened? What happened in the boat scene? What happened in the ship scene?
No, I said
You're not on a ship.
It
You're
doesn't
on an
matter how
island.
you assume that the radio gets there, guys. You guys are getting too in the fiction here.
Assume a spherical cow.
All right, Malawi. We're getting Malawi right now, so we're good. The radio's working. Malawi is on the air.
Okay, so if I were to bring something and price isn't an issue, shipping's not an issue, none of that's an issue, and I had a couple guys that set up, sure, I'd bring a tower, a hex beam, a chameleon, what's the the chameleon inverted V setup that you have, Josh, and that T.O. has, that one. I'd bring that, the Coffee and Ham Radio Chronos, the Yaesu FT710, and a Mercury amplifier with at least 1,200 watt-hours of battery power.
The good answers on the radio, but bad answers on the antenna.
Well, if you want to know what a professional DXpedition guy does, Rolly, he takes the DX Commander Expedition to most of his DXpeditions.
Yeah, most DXpeditions run on verticals, specifically to small islands, because then, radio field and saltwater type thing.
Well,
not only that, but with the vertical, your takeoff angle is going to be better, and you're on an island, so you're not trying to talk to anyone on the island.
And that's why I'd bring the Coffee and Ham Radio Chronos. It's a vertical, and I would just set those radios up, as you said, Levi, across into every last bit of water I could, and literally the Earth is my ground plane.
The lava rock Earth. Well, would you? So then the real answer is, would you build a coconut radio?
Oh, you'd have to. You're on an island.
To go back to the shipwreck. All right, so Malawi, we didn't get them. Dang. They didn't. I didn't hear them come back. That's a bummer.
I got him earlier.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to turn on the amp.
I'm on 45 watts in Florida.
You shut your mouth when you talk to me about amps. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Hey, I'm running the exact same rig. I'm on 705 and a micro PA. Yeah, micro PA.
Oh, I'm not running that. I'm running a Flex 8600 right now.
I know. I'm talking about your travel rig.
Into a 3-element Yagi, and I'm not able to get up. You've also got a whole lot of ocean between. I've got to go over land to get to where they're at.
I can't hear you here, though.
Oh, I'm not aimed at it. I'm aimed up over north to try and hit them. Well, what else? What else? So we got there's no other radios that anybody would bring if they were going on a little island vacation. What would they bring? That's it.
Well, I brought an 891 and a DX Commander Expedition. That's pretty much what I brought in a 30 amp hour battery.
That's actually not a bad. That's not a bad call because you would be you'd be the destination, right? People would be gunning for you. That's true.
Yeah,
I think I'd bring a true SDX.
Mike is correct. An ELAD is not a bad choice.
An ELAD.
Mm-hmm.
How about the?
Why do I not know?
How about the new new HF which just came out?
The 7760.
Yep.
Ugh. That's a big beast. But no, look up the ELAD. You'll see. You've seen it before, I'm sure.
So
Chuck has one.
Tim over there in Guam says a lot of guys bring a 710 here. So yeah, Yaesu 710. There you go. One thing I haven't heard yet: how you can recharge the batteries. Even I forgot that one. I bring at least 300 watts of solar panel.
I'd bring 300 watts of LiFePO 4.
Oh, no, Don. 1,200 watts of LiFePO 4. You gotta last for a while.
Mm.
Well, Josh didn't say that we didn't have electricity. He just said, "What are you bringing to the island?"
Yeah.
Well, what happens if the electricity on the island goes out? You still need battery and lots of it.
But also, I mean, you're on an island. You got lots of sun. You don't necessarily need shore power because you have infinite budget.
Jody has it. Jody has it in the memes. Always ensure your deserted island has 2 trees.
All right, I put the amp on, fellas.
Somebody's assuming
when I did my expedition to an island, I made sure the island had mains power and plenty of scaffold poles.
So Cuba?
You know, I've looked around the U.S. for scaffold poles like Callum gets. I cannot find them.
Well, you know, when you have your building repaired, it's the stuff that holds all that up.
They're not. The ones that we have here in the U.S. are not built like the ones in the U.K.
Well, that's probably because you use those man lift things rather than build scaffolding.
No, they're scaffolding. It's just built differently. The tubes are different.
They're all welded together a lot of times too. They're not. You can't just take them apart.
Yeah, and I wish I like that thing that Callum used on that 40-meter mast. Those grips that he used that go in between the sections. I have never seen those here in the U.S. You have to order.
Yeah, engineering sell them.
No, they don't. Not like what Callum. Not like what Callum has.
That's because they actually buy them from the UK. But there you go. Moonraker sell them. So if Moonraker sell it, DX Engineering can get it.
Yeah, and I can order them from UK.
You should get bamboo ones from Asia. Then it doesn't affect your antenna.
Oh, there you
go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's what they use for scaffold tubes. They use bamboo. I mean, you know.
And they'll stand up to typhoon winds.
Yeah. Boy, we've had some winds down here.
We got them up here in the Northeast too.
Don, you've got a lake. You could probably plant some bamboo in there and, you know, give it 2 years and you'll have 3 poles.
My mother-in-law did that at the old house. and it's like a freaking weed. You cannot, once it's there,
you'll never get rid of it.
Yep.
That's what the machete's for, Don.
All right. Well, I was able to get
doing
that, but at what cost? I think I nuked something in the USB space here in my computer area, so the Stream Deck is no longer working.
Oh, you didn't set off the fire alarm? That's disappointing.
Well, I might
the
have,
touch
but
lamps?
nobody's home, so I don't care.
Oh, okay. There you go.
I thought you only did that on 40. You do that on 22.
With enough power, I could do that on any frequency.
Fair enough. I'm thankful. Knock on wood. I'm thankful I don't have that problem here. Talk about PTSD.
I thought you said the power company came out and fixed everything, Josh.
The power company was fixing power line problems. I have my own home wiring problems. We had the HVAC guys. We had the last time somebody was doing something, I don't know, I think it was the charger, running the charger lines for my truck. Somebody stepped on a duct, and it was, asbestos, yay! And so we had to get a crew come in and abate all the asbestos out. That was not cheap. Then we got that cleared out, and so another crew came in and reducted the whole air conditioning area, the HVAC system, and they were like, "Yeah, you're like half your wiring is pretty bad." And I'm like, "Well, this house is from like the '60s," and they're like, "Yeah, it looks like it." And so I probably have to have an electrician come out and just overhaul a lot of the old shit, just because it's like it's not good. Which might solve all of my problems. I'm guessing so, because I'm probably arcing over who knows what.
You don't by any chance have aluminum wiring, do you?
You know what, Don? Statistically, there is a greater than 0 chance I have that.
Okay. Yeah, the house that I was living in Richardson, it was built in '67.
Yeah.
It was all aluminum wiring until it burned down.
Oh boy. Well, let's hope we don't have that going on.
No, I don't wish that on anybody. God, that was awful.
I'm gonna pull the plug on something really quick and plug it back in, and let's see if we can bring back some of the stream capability. Doesn't really matter, but we may lose some stuff, so just hold on. Don't worry about me. Hold on.
Yeah, I have 2 rental properties in Philly, and it's all half aluminum, half copper, because they were all built in the '30s.
Am I still here?
Well,
I'm still here. Whew.
Yeah, the problem is when aluminum and copper come together, they eventually they will form basically a resistor in between, and everything will heat up, and that's it. Fire.
Yeah, they have this for the older houses here in the Northeast. They have they're wire nuts with they got like the dielectric grease in it, and you're supposed to coat the crap out of it before you put the wire nut on to basically stop it from doing that.
Yeah, here they pigtail them with copper, and I don't. They require when they find it that they go through and retrofit the house with copper pigtails, but we never got to that point because my mother-in-law was living it at the time, and she did not realize that and she had a lamp plugged in that had a copper prongs, and had it for years, and one day it just anyway, never mind. One day it just happened.
Yeah.
Well, this will probably kick Josh right in the nads, but when I had to do a property that I was flipping back and reselling, when we had to rewire the whole house, it was like $15,000. It was a 2-story, 1,500 square foot house.
15 grand? Okay, I did not.
Yeah.
That's not the number. That's not the number I'm looking for. That's way too much money.
Well, 15 grand is where he lives. Where Josh lives, it's going to be 3 times that.
I was about to say.
It better not be.
And don't forget you got to get your environmental impact study and a couple other things too.
Josh, when we had our house rebuilt in 2014, the electrical wiring alone was just over $15,000 in NorCal. So yeah, it's gonna be, and that's granted that's a 2-story home, but still.
Okay, well, you guys are freaking me out.
It won't be as bad as California. They got so much red tape and things to pay for. It's going to be less than that, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. There's no cost wrapped up in that at all. Yeah.
Well, you were talking about getting your family all involved in YouTube. You may need to do it besides for college.
Yeah, we might all need to have YouTube channels. Yeah.
Just for the electric wiring.
Yeah, you got to remember just to replace the panel alone, you're looking at $1,200 to $3,000 depending on the panel and the size.
Oh,
well, no, I got a new panel.
$7,000 for that.
I got a new panel. I got everything in that sense is new. I just think there's a number of connectors and other things up in the attic that need to get sorted out. That's what I'm looking at. I don't think. I don't know. I don't know, but
Yeah, if you got a new panel, then they probably inspected it, and if they'd have seen aluminum wiring, they would have flagged it. So you're probably okay as far as that goes.
Just have Shane come over and fix it all. He's good at that.
He's good in a vehicle. I don't know that he would say he's going to do home wiring. That's a whole different ball of wax.
12
They
volts.
They may just check all the home runs and then just have them replace what needs to be replaced and then call it a day, and then you don't got to do everything.
That's what I'm expecting. I'm expecting somebody to come in and go like, "Oh yeah, this is trash. We got like 5 runs we got to replace," and then I'm gonna be like, "Oh yeah, go do that," and then it's gonna be like $5K. That's what I'm aiming for.
You need to strategically force your children into specific careers that benefit you, Josh.
There's no way my wife would. Okay, there is nothing I respect more than a journeyman electrician. There's nothing I respect more than people going into trades. My wife, not gonna happen. Anybody who listens to the podcast knows that my wife is like, no, you're going to college. You're gonna you know, like trust me. I respect the trades. That's a job that you can make a whole life out of and a happy career and retirement in some cases, depending on who you work for. No question.
Well,
my wife, different world.
Both of you didn't seem very interested in them going to either MIT or Yale or Harvard.
Oh, I think we're all just balking at the cost of it.
Oh yeah, totally understandable.
I think if either of our kids got if our kids got into Yale, not Yale, I don't care that much about Yale. MIT though, yeah, I would be.
Oh yeah,
I would be like, all right, we're gonna work something out.
Yeah, we just hired a girl for our GUI work that she graduated from MIT.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I said. I was like, wow, how did we land her? But yeah.
How's the FT8 doing?
It's doing good. It's doing. Any other what do you mean?
Yeah.
Like as far as like making contacts, I just made a contact to Malawi. Put that on the map.
Clint, you can tune into Josh's YouTube channel and watch him do it live right now.
I am.
Yeah, you can see all these little pink lines above my head are people that hear me. So if I get off of, let me get off of the big globe. I don't even know how to do that now that I've done it. Is that this guy?
I don't see you, Josh.
Yep, there it is. So here you go. Look at what that's a whole nother continent over there. Josh is worldwide with his signal. Look at that. Good Lord, I can't. The VE3 just made a VE3 contact. That's the east side of Canada. East side. Yeah, I'm getting out pretty good. 20's hot right now. 20's really good. I'm getting Japan off the backside of my beam, which is always scary.
VE3 is Ontario.
So you're pointing east, Josh?
This guy specifically, though, his call sign is east side.
Where is
so how much contacts you can hit? How much contacts you can do?
How many? Like how many contacts can I make in a period like over 24 hours?
Yes.
I don't know. What's the cycle rate of FT8? 60 seconds, or is it less than 60?
Yes.
Oh no, it's less than 60.
One contact per.
I think it's 37 or 45, something like that.
37. No, what do you mean? 45 seconds? 45 seconds for a contact?
Yeah.
So yeah, every contact takes about 45 seconds. So multiply that or divide by a day, and there you go. If you were so inclined.
Yeah, and
45 seconds if you don't send the response, if you don't send the last thank you response, so it's closer to a minute.
You got to send that RR73, guys. That's the trick. Once you get that, you're good. You're locked in.
If I remember right, I did this a year or so ago. TL was trying to figure out how much faster FT8 was than FT4, and in a 24-hour period, I got 2 times the amount of contacts on FT4 than I did FT8. So you can get. I'd have to go back and find the stats I sent him, but it was somewhere close to 150 to 200 for FT8, and looks like your VE3 is in the chat too.
Yeah. So just remember that, once you get the little pop-up that says log it, you're done. The contact's done. You've exchanged the contact information. You're all good to go. You can move on. So I just got the pop-up and I say, okay, there's a contact. Logged it. I don't have to do the R73, blah, blah, blah. You're all done at that point. Oh, my VE3's in the chat. That's awesome. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate the contact.
So
what's
wait a
the
minute,
call
Josh.
for the Malawi? It is it's 7Q6 Uniform Juliet. 7 Quebec 6 Uniform Juliet is the call.
There's Kyrgyzstan too, if you want to try to get it.
I don't see them yet. Oh, is that the Romeo 2 Hotel?
EX2G.
I don't see him. I don't call people I don't see.
But Kuwait was on SSB yesterday.
Oh my God, that guy was getting slammed.
Yeah.
So bad.
Yeah.
People were not even letting him finish before they were calling him.
Oh yeah, I hate that. And the other thing I hate, it's a personal problem, but is all of the guys in one land, 2 land, and 4 land that are just blowing me out of the water because I can't get over them because I'm too far away.
No, there's a good amount of really bad, impolite hams in.
Oh yeah, true. No, I'm just talking about.
Not personal to you.
My location is just not as ideal as theirs is.
You have to consider too, the bad manners in amateur radio is not a America thing.
Mm-mm.
There are bad actors in all the other countries.
It's required to get a license in Italy.
In Italy, that's the joke.
CQDX.
CQDX.
Just watch some of Callum's live streams sometimes when he's trying to work the U.S. and all of the people in Europe that are shouting at him.
Oh yeah.
If I recorded my POTAs from the shore, right along the Atlantic Ocean in the mornings when I do it between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. Oh my God, the Italy stations and the Spain stations will call you endlessly until you answer.
Yeah.
España got no time for your QRZ.
So Russia doesn't?
Surprisingly, no.
No,
Surprisingly,
the Russians are actually very polite. They're
That's pleasantly surprising.
Russian single sideband. They are very polite operators.
They're just loud as hell and very dirty.
Yeah,
Well, yeah. When they're out calling CQ and they're working people, they're I've always found them to be really polite.
Yep.
And
me
they
too.
have really good ears too. They can pick people up that are QRP and all kinds of stuff.
Yep. I've had never a complaint of a Russian anybody operating a Russian station.
I heard someone say question.
Yeah, go ahead, question.
Yeah, we just did a contact on FT8. I'm VE2 EEJ.
Right on.
Stroke W4. Did I enter that properly in FT8?
Let me see. VE2 EEJ, stroke W4.
Yep.
Yep, that's what I got.
Neat.
You're good.
All right.
I'm getting a Russia station now on FT8.
Very polite FT8 operators too. Very polite.
Yeah,
Rush it off.
they never talk back.
They never talk back.
Hey, Josh.
Yeah.
I know that it's a have a no topic. I'm making me a puppy.
You're gonna get a what?
I think he said puppy.
He's making a puppy.
No, I'm making a puppy. Is a Aussie, miniature Aussie.
I don't think I got that.
I think he said he's getting a miniature Aussie puppy.
Yeah,
like
dog.
an
Australian Shepherd.
A border collie, or not a border collie, an Australian Shepherd, that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's a Aussie. It's a miniature Aussie. Simple.
That's like a Bluey dog. That's like from Bluey, the TV show.
Yep.
So I hear they need a lot of activity. I looked at one of those dogs. They're super smart. They're incredibly smart, but they need a lot of activity. Like they get, you don't want them bored.
I know. He might sleep in my room.
Well, hold on. You're just trying to move the whole show to dogs now, so we can't do that yet. The wheels haven't come completely off. We got to say hi to our YouTube friends before we do that. So hang tight with that discussion. Otherwise, I'll tell you to go get a corgi. They can both be high energy and also super chill.
And tonight, you actually do have a list and a suggestion.
Ooh, a list and suggestion. All right. Well, I'm going to start at the top in true fashion. That means we're going to Bill, Ham Radio Tectonics first. How you doing, Bill?
Can you guys hear me?
We can, but you're really hot.
You're really hot.
Your mic's really hot.
Let me back off a little bit. How about now? How's that?
A little bit better. I hear like everything. Are you on the right microphone?
Yeah, I'm on the right microphone, but I got a heater going on in here. I can wait until later and get if it's. Anyway, hey, my name's Bill. Kilo Zero Whiskey Hotel Whiskey, Ham Radio Tectonics. Thanks for a shout out here, Josh. And interesting, tonight's stream has been very interesting. It's like I have opinions about it all, but I keep my mouth shut. It's one of the best antennas I ever had. Whoever was the 160 loop, if you've got the room for it, I'm on slightly less than 2 acres and it'll handle it. So you don't need much more than 2 acres. If you need that much, I think you can get it in under that. And let's see, in the channel, I finally finished that power supply and did that video, that DIY, playing with some antennas here. I got, thanks for that information, Josh. You helped me out with that Step IR.
Oh, nice.
Appreciate you. So I'm playing with that right now, kind of enjoying it. And let's see, what else is going on? Got to get out and do some POTA, do some CW POTA, and make some videos for other people to practice with and listen to and keep my skills up. And that's about it, man. Always working on something here in my ham radio trailer shack, green ham machine. And that's about it.
Right on, man. Well, thanks for joining us and sharing. Appreciate that.
All right. Get out of the way. And what was that?
Oh, no, you're good. You're good. Thanks.
73.
All right, so we have 2 Chris's, and the first Chris is just Chris, and then after Chris is going to be Chris, Ham Radio, and Life. So first Chris, just Chris. Go ahead. It's your turn, buddy. Is he there?
You talking to me?
Yeah. I think that's you. Yes, that's you. Go ahead, man. How you been?
Doing all right. Trying to get set up to do some videos. So hopefully I'll have some videos on my new Vero radio, the N76.
Yeah.
I've been playing with that. Trying to get APRS to work properly and trying to find packet radio in my neck of the woods, which it doesn't exist. But
yeah, WinLink in your area at all?
Not that I've seen. But
well, that's not good. Okay, well, that's hard to test then.
I'm not in Southern California like you are, the mecca of ham radio.
It is, at least for VHF, UHF, and microwave. California is hard to beat. That's true.
But let's try to get started on some videos finally and get these out. So
right on.
That's what I'm working on.
All right. Appreciate that. All right. Next is Chris, Ham Radio. Chris Radio and Life. How you doing, man?
Pretty good, Josh. It's been a fun-filled week. Last week, Sunday, I activated my first Parks on the Air US 9858. Dropped the video on Friday.
Good for you.
And then today I decided to tear into my vehicle and pull out the Kenwood TM733A and put in the FTM 400 that I bought about a month ago.
I like that. If I may, and take this as, just my feedback, start doing a little work on your thumbnails. If you could.
That is one thing that I'm trying to do. I'm still trying to figure out a bunch of stuff with that. So I will try to message you or Frank or somebody that has been doing it for a while and see what I can do.
Yeah, go make an account on Canva, canva.com, and just start making your thumbnails there. That's what I do. I've been doing that for now a couple of years, and I really like using their tools. They got a lot of cool tools.
I will look at that first thing tomorrow morning. As I have my kids this weekend, I am going to be going to bed here very shortly.
All right, I understand. I didn't have a failed soda. I'll talk about that. I took my mountain bike out this today. I'm coming off of a cold, and I failed to get to the summit because I'm still sick, and I shouldn't have gone, but I wanted to test out the bike so badly. I'll talk about that later, though. Let's continue going forward, and then we'll come back and I'll mention my failure. So don't feel bad. I fail too. Fail often. You learn a lot. Don, N5SKT is next. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, Josh. I'm doing the Frank duty tonight, so let me just a second and I'll drop the link.
I can pull you up. I got you.
Oh, okay.
I found you.
Thanks.
You're good.
Yeah, I have to come off the PTT button to do the cut and paste.
I'll drop.
But anyway, yeah, this week was a wash because I spent the entire week getting my mower over to the place, and I had to get a trailer. I had to learn about trailer hitches and all kinds of stuff that I've never done before, and how to properly load a trailer, and it was a chore. In fact, on Thursday I spent the entire day, literally the entire day, working on getting the trailer just right, just so I could tow that mower over there. And we made it over like 5 minutes after they closed, and we called them on the way, so we were able to drop it off. But and then it turns out, no, I had the wrong hitch, and so they could not. I drove the mower up the ramp and got it onto the trailer, but he said, no, I can't get this off the trailer. It's not on the truck right. And then he explained to me how I needed to do it, and then he went and got a forklift and forklifted off the trailer.
Yeah, there you go.
So, it was quite the experience this week. So, and I would not film any of that. That's, I was too busy trying to get it done to try to film it. But I got, and by the way, I don't know if you've ever tried to tow with your Ford. And I don't know if you have the towing package, but my gosh, does that make it easy?
With the little rotor dial on the side there for the tiller
that thing
drive?
Called Pro Trailer.
Yeah, I got all that.
Yeah. Oh man, that's That is such an amazing tool, and it saved my ass when I came home because I nearly jackknifted the thing. But anyway, sorry, that's none of this is about ham radio, but and I'm still the things I was planning to do last week. I'm still planning to do, and then some because. And I think Paul's still in the chat, but I did get one of those deals like he was showing on his channel the other day, and I am going to. I mean, just looking at it and working with it today, I know I can get a delta loop out of it that will look a lot like the one that I have in the video, but it's nowhere near as big. I mean, it's much smaller, much easier to pack down and carry. And of course, I know Chameleon makes one, but I just think it's fun to build one myself. So
yeah,
eventually I'll have a video on that and how to do it because I'm just, I mean, I'm still impressed with that Delta loop. I just can't believe that I can get 160 and 80 and all the other bands I can get on it just from hitting the tune button on the 7300. So, anyway, that's all I got today.
That's good. All right. Well, thank you very much for that. Appreciate it. All right. Next is, I have to dive back in here. Frank, go ahead. What's up, man?
Okay. Well, first off, Clint, please turn off the live. That's not going to work in the live chat here, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah, turn that off.
Yeah, okay, good. We're good now. Hold on.
Uh-oh.
Sorry, I got distracted from a family member here real quick. Yeah, I'm in the middle of transitioning stuff. I have no computer right now that I can edit or live stream on. I am waiting for a replacement part to come in. I fried the P1 connector somehow on the computer, and so now I'm having to.
Oh, no.
I'm going to have to unsolder the old one and solder in a new one. I dropped that way before you got in here, but an image of it. But yeah, it's nasty looking. And I tried. So last night during Ham Radio Kids Table, we celebrated the 2-year anniversary of the Tuesday night playlist.
Yeah.
And I was using my sibling's computer, and it was an absolute nightmare for me, but hey, it worked, and nothing else coming out from me, and let's shove it on to Tim, and I have to go figure out what's going on here at the house.
Okay. Well, then next is Tim, the gray man POTA. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, but I'm not sure how to follow that.
I mean, where do you go with that?
I don't know. It's, staying busy, and like Frank mentioned, we did a 3-hour live stream last night.
Oh, wow.
I think
Good
at
for
one
you.
point we had 10 people on there of creators who have been putting videos together for the last up to last couple of years. Last night was the 2-year anniversary of Shane, Scout 75, and Mike into MAK, who got together and said, hey, let's start doing this. And then slowly, one after another, started coming in, and we've put together not only Tuesday nights, but we expanded to Thursday nights and then Wednesday nights. And then eventually we've started our own live streams. So staying busy with that. I've got some of my own videos, but today I tell you, 3 parks, 2 counties. I don't know. I just hitting parks on the way home today from Indianapolis. So
good for you.
Got quite a few contacts in the log today.
Well, let's do this. I don't know when this might work out for both of us, but I'd be down to do like a live stream with you all where we talk about making YouTube videos. Just not of course, ham radio related, but where we just go through nuts and bolts like YouTube stuff. Like actually making videos, if you'd be down with doing a live stream like that. That might kind of be fun.
We can, that's great. We can get that on the books. So we deal with this every other Wednesday schedule. So one Wednesday we have no big deal, or it's not an issue. The opposite Wednesdays, though, there's this group, this very small stream that's on every other Wednesday called Ham Nation. And, you know, we feel bad and we don't want to take all their viewers away. So we shut off right at 9 p.m. Eastern time. So, and to open up the pathway, open up the airwaves for those guys and gals.
Well, you let me know what might work for you, and I'd be down. I'd be down to like hop on and do something, you know, with you guys. That'd be cool. For the off,
that would be great, because we're trying to do, you know, ham radio is so much more than what it used to be 100 years ago, and you know, all of this is part of it now.
Yeah.
And Josh, you'd be remiss if you didn't feature those Ham Nation guys. You know, they're struggling a little bit, right?
A little bit, yeah. There's a lot going on there.
Small fledgling YouTube live stream.
Let's see.
Okay. And just for reference, I'm back.
Okay, good.
Man.
Apparently an iPhone decided to stop working and just reboot it. Simple, right? Oh, well. Anyway.
And they had to call you for that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you know, it happens. You're an important guy. They're like, we don't know how to do this without you.
I am literally tech support in the family, and I have been like that since the age of 7. Yeah.
Welcome to the club.
Hello, IT. Did you turn it back on again?
Exactly. Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're good. You're good. Let's see. Hold on. I was trying to do something.
And by the way, Chris, all those thumbnails on my screen are made in Canva. All the ones that Josh is showing right now.
Okay, thanks for the heads up. I'm trying to do something right now, actually, because the kids are still up and stuff like that. So they're not exactly tired yet.
Okay. Let's see. Who's next? On the list is Mark Boondock Echo. How's it going, man?
Did I hear Boondock Echo?
Yeah, what's
good, man? Well, Tim was gracious enough to invite me to the kids' table. I think it's this Wednesday, Tim?
It is this Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time.
8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So if you're not Eastern, that's 5 o'clock for us West Coast folks. So we're going to talk about Boondock Tango, which right now will allow you to buy some parts off Amazon, eBay, or AliExpress and build your own receive-only board. At some point, we will have adapter boards made by Makers Fab that will allow you to convert that over to something that can transmit and receive. But for now, it'll be receive-only. But you can do that now, and it doesn't cost you anything, no tariffs, because you can get it straight to your country. You can bypass us. You don't have to give us any money, and you don't have to give their government any money. So go nuts, folks. Now, right now, the only code that we have is with the BC125AT. Although I spent the last 3 days, and Casey, my partner, could have had this done in 20 minutes, but I spent the last 3 days working on some code that'll make it universal for any scanner. You'll just have to write a little adapter library. But if you've got something out there that's not the unit in BC125, you should be able to do it. I've done it with the BCD325P2, the SDS200, and up until yesterday with the ARRDV1. But if anybody caught my question earlier, if anybody knows how to repair the USB port once it borks itself, I know somebody who would like to know that. So, yeah, so things are going good, Josh. We're just plugging along.
I realized I didn't have your YouTube for that. Hold on, let me pull that up.
Don. Oh,
I got it.
Not that. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I dropped the other
he dropped the link, but I usually try and pull him up on the screen. So sorry about that.
Yeah.
I was doing too many things on the background.
No problem. And I haven't put the scanner code up to the GitHub yet because I'm still messing around and it's still in very early stages. Mm-hmm. But at some point, if you want to be able to remote control your rigs, your scanners, we found the BC125. it only has a few of the mini commands it's capable of documented anywhere. And the way that I figured this out was just running through every possible command that it could potentially take and figuring out which ones it actually responded to. So it's got a lot more features than Unity even advertises.
Nice. All right. Very good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Mark, for hanging out. Appreciate you. And feel free to dive in if you have any thoughts there. Next is Prep Ham Paul. How you doing?
Hey, good evening, Josh and everybody. I made it, although I did just get the message from my wife. Where's my husband? Because I usually go to bed by now.
Uh-oh. Oh, sorry about that.
No, that's okay. I was hanging out and she was doing her thing, so it's not a big deal. But yeah, this week I got a few things from AliExpress. You can kind of go crazy there. And so I put out a video on a $20 antenna and a $8 CW kit. And the CW kit is soldering and building it, which is actually fun. And I speed it up for time constraints. But yeah, it works. It's a good practice CW decoder kit for $8. So that was fun. And before I forget, is it Clint that was looking for the POTA, lives in Sherman?
Yes.
Okay, to Clint, the Texas State Parks group or Texas State Parks on the Air is coming up next month, and I think it's probably 45 minutes or so from your house to Ray Roberts, but that club that sponsors it is going to be at Ray Roberts, and that would give you an opportunity to see some different radios and do some POTA if you wanted. I've been meaning to tell him. I told him in chat, but I don't know if he heard that or not. But for Texas State Parks, just go to tspota.org. It's TexasStateParksOnTheAir.org. Get all the information on there, but come check it out and we'll get you on the air and do some POTA if you'd like. But anyway, sorry, taking up some time here. Sunday nights, my live stream, 8:30. This week, I'm doing chapter 3 on my series this year of getting fully prepared by 2026, trying to help people go step by step. This week is chapter 3, which is how to start your family preparedness plan. So I alternate weeks with radio topics and preparedness topics. So thus the channel Prep Ham Paul. But thanks, Josh. Always good streams. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, awesome. Well, appreciate that. And that's good. It's good to be personally prepared. So let's see. All right. Next is Dane, the portable ham. Are you there, Dane? Can you hear us?
That I am. Don't really actually have much going on. Built a X300 today. That's going to be going up tomorrow.
Okay. What do you want to tell us about it a little bit, or I'll pull up your channel?
Sorry, I was getting attacked by the wife. What would you like to know about?
Well, just tell us about your channel a little bit. Go ahead. I actually can't find you, so I'm trying to look for you right now.
So channel, it's just starting off. I'm extremely new to the ham tube space. Literally was just able to unlock live streaming, which was exactly what I was trying to accomplish. But I drive a lot. I'm out on the road a lot, so hence the reason why the channel is the portable ham.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be kind of my shtick. I'm going to be doing live streams just so people can interact and have fun and make contacts while I'm out on the road doing my jam.
Nice. All right. Well, there you go. Yeah. Post more videos. That's the biggest trick. Live streams are great, but generally the short form videos are the best way to build your channel. That and shorts. Those are going to be the fastest ways to build your channel.
Did I drop the right link to your channel?
Not sure, but I can tell you my next video that I am going to be shooting though is I had somebody ask me to do my portable gear, so I'm going to be doing a gear dump for my next video. Tried filming it last weekend. File ended up getting corrupted. Amazing. So that's going to be the next video coming down the pipeline though.
Right on. Right on. Very good. Well, appreciate you hanging out with us, and Yeah, keep making videos. That's the biggest thing to grow is just make more videos and take your videos that you made and make a short out of those videos and upload those. Those are very popular that way too. All right, good
And
luck.
Tim, yes, you did. Don, sorry. Don, yes, you did drop the right link.
And joined us a little bit after we started introducing some YouTubers. The Digital Analog Ham is here. How are you doing, buddy? Haven't talked to you in a little while.
Yeah, hi Josh. Yeah, doing okay. I've been experimenting. I've got the ICOM 7000 in the mobile, and I've got the 705 as well. So I've now got the 705 and the XPA 125. So I'm just experimenting with that setup. Back to you.
Right on. I generally like that amp. The tuner is not fantastic in it. I've always tried to give it the best resonant antenna I can, and it seems to work the best like that. What's been your experience so far?
Yeah, well, I've only had it less than a week, and I'm only using it in the mobile.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it's tuned anything I've thrown at it. I mean, I'm using a 10-meter, a CB antenna converted, and it brings it down. I can do 12 and 15 on it even.
Oh wow, okay, that's pretty good. I have not had that good of luck. Maybe mine is just an older model. Maybe they've improved upon them over time, but that's good to hear.
Yeah, since I got it, I realised there is an old model with the black one, with the black display, black front. The one I've got is the newer one.
Yeah, mine is the black fronted one. I have an older one. It's probably 4 years old now. I think about that.
Yeah, I'm very lucky, but I just bought it and I didn't know there was an old model. But I'm also experimenting with DMR digital scanners. I've just got the Uniden 160. I forget the full name, but it's quite a cheap DMR set. Well, digital, and the Anytone. All of the Anytone radios are very good, cheap DMR scanners, and you can pick up police and security.
Assuming they're open receive, or are you just you're close within the band, or what are you doing?
Well, on the Anytone, you've got the digital monitor function, and you can set it all wide, so you can set it any talk group, any color code, and any slot. So if you do a search between two frequencies, you'll just hear the traffic if it's there. Obviously, if it's not encrypted, but it's a DMR a digital radio scanner, and you've probably already got one. It's a bit slow, but it's worth giving it a try.
Okay, I'll check that out. I do have a scanner actually for like a proper scanner with a DMR board in it. So I generally use that, and it does P25 too. I have a Uniden SDS 200, which does perfect for what I needed to do. You've been into scanners for a while though, right?
Yeah, sure have. I've had all the realistics from Tandy from Radio Shack years ago.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
But you see, the thing is, these DMR, these digital scanners to pick up police and security and stuff, they're expensive, and I've just got this new Uniden 160. I can't remember the full name of it, but it doesn't pick up anything different than the Anytone. It's just faster. So if you've got an Anytone, it's worth trying it.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah, right on. There you go.
I have one. I have a Anytone handheld.
That's cool. Cool radio. It's a good one. Well, thanks for joining us. I appreciate you hanging out. And feel free to dive in with any of your thoughts as we go through some of the questions later here, okay?
Yeah, okay, Josh, and I'm enjoying the stream, and keep up the good work.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. All right. I think we got through all of our YouTube friends here, so that means we're going back to open questions, any question, anywhere from anyone. Remember, if you're on YouTube, make sure you put the word question or at Ham Radio Crash Course in there. And then anybody on the Discord, go ahead. And my voice is going out, so I don't know how long I'm going to hold out here, but go ahead, Don.
Well, there was somebody that in the YouTube chat that asked about buying ham radio equipment off of AliExpress, and my advice to him just briefly was, watch YouTube videos before you buy. But I mean, just like Prep Hen Paul expressed a few minutes ago, he's buying some things off of there. And, I've bought tons of stuff off of AliExpress from watching Tech Minds videos and a few other people. So, I mean, I'm careful about it because I don't want to just go and grab something that I see brand new. But I do definitely, take others at their word, and I will buy, certain things off of AliExpress, and it has proven to be a good place to buy things.
Yeah. Go ahead.
How about Facebook Marketplace or Temu or?
I mean, Temu is like AliExpress from my point of view. Facebook Marketplace is more like used stuff from my experience.
Mm-hmm. And I've been a little leery of using Temu myself, but Jason just did a big video on them. But even with what he's doing, I just don't. I don't know. I don't trust them as much as I do AliExpress. And there's another one that starts with an A that's also a Chinese site like that. And from what I've understood, you never buy from them.
Alibaba.
Alibaba,
that's it, yeah.
Alibaba, I've had some decent luck with. Alibaba's good for like a lot of factories use it. Yeah, like MFJ used to source a bunch of stuff from Alibaba, and we'd get one-off engineering samples and stuff done by them. It's kind of like Etsy, and that you can find some suppliers and get like one-offs made and do some stuff.
Yeah, you would almost use Alibaba for like bulk parts that you'd be using to then manufacture something else. Like it's more like it's not the commercial consumer side. It's more like the business manufacturing side for like parts. Like at least that's what it looks like to me when I see it.
The comparison to Etsy is equally apt to AliExpress, Alibaba, and Temu.
How so? What do you mean?
It's just a marketplace. The trustworthiness, the quality, anything else is up to the vendor that's selling through it.
Oh, well, sure. Etsy, though, is more like handmade stuff versus...
It's meant to be, but it's not always.
Well, and AliExpress will stand behind what their sellers sell. At least I've had good luck with returns from them. They're not 100%, but I've had better luck with them than the others, and that's what worries me about Temu. I don't know anything about what their return policies are.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I don't trust Temu either. I joke that AliExpress is radio Temu because other people with other interests and hobbies or whatever, they knew Temu better than AliExpress seemingly. And I will say that AliExpress does try to be a stand-up business. But there is a time limit for that. Just like if you've got something that works great until it doesn't, your time limit to leave a review is relatively short, and the item might not arrive by the time that time limit's up.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Jay Hoop just backed up my claim earlier that Alibaba is business to business, whereas AliExpress is business to consumer, and they're both under the same title. They're both under the same company. It's owned by the same company.
Yep.
Yeah, I think with AliExpress too, that's kind of I don't know, like if it's not good or I mean it's good, but it's not like it's kind of weird. Is that if this stuff doesn't come in time, you get massive like I don't know about anyone else here, but I've gotten massive discount codes and coupon codes and all this or refunds for the shipping and stuff like that too, which is also really good. But at the same time, it's like how far is that actually going to go?
I will tell you the Chinese website I've had no issues buying anything off of ever. It is Olight. You guys ever buy anything off Olight? Olight is the biggest, like, I swear, they have like the dumbest things, like, oh, spin this wheel and you might get a flashlight. You're like, yes, okay, I will spin this wheel, like Web 1.0 crap that they're pulling. And it's like, dude, it's so funny. They're not
another Timo.
They're not IEDs. They're not.
Mm.
Their gun lights are way better now, but yes, they had problems in the past.
Oh yeah.
Doesn't Jason have some of those O-lights?
I have so many O-lights. I give them away like every year at the campouts. I haven't bought any yet because there hasn't been a big sale, but this one in particular is like the jam. I'm not an affiliate with O-Light or anything either. I actually really like their flashlights. You get a pretty decent light for cheap. This like O-Light 3, the clip thing that they have, it has a red light, a flood, and a beam, and it's like $40, and it's small. It's super small. They're great. They're really cool. Like that's the Chinese website that I go to buy crap, is just O-Light.
So I will say everything they sell, they also sell through Amazon. I took one look at the O-Light website and I went back to Amazon.
Yeah, but then you can't spin the wheel, guy, and then you can't build points. How do you get to your platinum status without points?
I bought the most expensive flashlight they have. I am platinum status.
You cannot get platinum status from buying a flashlight. Trust me, I know. I have their most expensive flashlight. The Marauders? I have one.
Yeah, so we're both platinum status. Look at us being cool.
Okay, I don't. Hold on, I'm gonna look up what I'm at right now. Oh, you know what? Platinum's like it might be really low. I forget they have like 18 different levels.
So is that 7,000 watt or lumens or whatever?
So
it's crazy, yeah.
The Marauder Mini is like 7,000. I have a Marauder, which is 14,000.
Oh, is it 14? I thought it was only 12.
It depends on. Well, it might be 12, but it's way more than.
It's unnecessarily bright.
Yeah, it's stupid bright.
At that, those particular flashlights, do they overheat?
They can.
They have a monitor.
Shut off though.
Yeah, they do.
Oh, I don't want them to shut off.
They dim. They auto dim.
What I want is a flashlight I can stand here in my backyard and shoot and see all the way, or have it light up all the way back to the back of my property.
Okay, let's make sure I'm not like doxing myself as I normally do on my live streams here, but I am effectively platinum, but I have bought way more than one flashlight. So okay, so here we go. So
yeah, I was being much more general. I've bought, like, when they come up with a new best thing, I usually buy it, but I don't buy it through them. They don't consider me platinum, but I know in my heart I'm platinum, etc.
I have bought way more flashlights than I should have. This is an insane amount of flashlights.
Yeah.
Marauder 2 is what I have.
Wow.
I have a question.
Okay. Is it about dogs?
No,
I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
I know. It's a other people like this popular handheld handheld handheld, and like, I'm talking about I don't know the name of it, but as people on TikTok.
I'm sorry. I like which radio? What kind of radio?
Koshine.
Oh, Quanchang. The Quanchang UV5K or whatever it is. Yeah. What about it? What about it?
Yeah, like I see a lot of people on TikTok sells it. Like sells like, oh, let's get this by the fan. Let's try this.
They're super dirty. That's my problem, is that I have not made a video on that because they create a lot of spurious emissions. They're just a very dirty radio. And so I have not been willing to I've not been willing to do a video on it because they're just they create spurious emissions. I won't do it.
Yeah. So we can think about full scene a GMS and a ham
Uh,
radio.
a what and ham?
GMS
Mm-hmm.
radio and a ham radio. Which one is the top line of? I mean, some people like GMS radios. I understand, even cool off-road, like off-roading, like hiking, all that.
Yeah,
Like
so
that
I
mobile.
won't generally review those on my channel specifically because they're multi-banded, because amateur radio, you're not supposed to have multi-band capable, multi-service capable radios. That's not allowed in the radio services. So I generally don't review them because frankly, I don't want to get called out by a bunch of people. It's like, oh, you shouldn't be reviewing that radio because it's not type accepted, blah blah blah. And so I just don't mess around with them.
You leave that stuff to Randy, right?
Yeah, Randy can review that stuff. That doesn't bother me.
Question.
Go ahead.
Are we talking about like the H3 and the H8 where like you flash it and it clears all the memories and now it's ham and now it's GMRS and so on?
Yeah, well, no, not the this guy, the TID radio. He's talking about the Quansheng, where you have like they've got like the crazy firmware changes that make it transmit on 10 meters, single sideband and crap like that.
Oh, review or not, have you ever tried that? Like, it is the worst. Like, I know you already know. We all already.
Oh, I
know
have
it's
it.
the
Yeah,
worst,
I have it. Yeah.
It's so much worse than the worst that you think it's gonna
I
be.
know, but those videos get so many views,
Yeah.
and it's like
Because they cost $18.
yeah, and you're like,
Mhm.
guys, have you actually tried it? And like, well, no, I'm just watching somebody else do it, and I
Yeah,
feel like I'm
and
getting something out of it. It's like, no, dude, this is not a good experience. Go,
well,
you know what's a good experience on 10 meters? Oddly enough, go buy those really dumb mono bands like 10-meter radios that are on Amazon, that like the Radiodities that put out like 60 watts, 80 watts,
The one you did
whatever.
with the
They
Vietnamese
work
sandwich.
great. They work fantastic, and you get a way better 10-meter experience. Way better.
We actually gave someone that radio specifically so they can just start to do POTA, and that was his first radio before he got an 891, and he used it for months and had no problem activating POTAs all the time.
No problem. Particularly in the high solar cycle, man. It's like there's no reason not to just go buy this cheap radio, get out there in the morning, rack up a ton of contacts, way longer distance than is like reasonable, and you're hooked. You're hooked at that point. You can't not be hooked.
Yeah, what I don't like, and I appreciate it. I mean, I do understand, but there are so many people out there, and I was talking to someone, I think the live stream that Coffee and Ham Radios was doing this morning, about people going, well, yeah, but I can't afford anything else. And I understand that, but you're doing yourself a disservice, and I don't think you really realize it.
By doing
Yeah,
what?
they're talking about the super cables with that.
Yeah, buying those radios and converting them to SSB and all of that stuff, and it's like,
oh yeah,
but
no.
it's $18, and I can afford $18, but I can't do $65, $70. I totally understand, but yeah, you're going to be way disappointed. And one of the things, well, anyway.
No, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Well, I'm sorry, but I have a pet peeve on HTs in the first place, just simply because I have seen so many hams, including myself, go through the thing of, I've got a new radio, and this is my first radio, this is the first one I can do, and hey, they're having a net with a club, and I go and key it up, and they're going, well, man, there's somebody that back there, but all they're doing is making the repeater scratch. You know, and there's nothing we can do about it. You're either going to have to get closer or get a better antenna, and you know, that's a disservice to those guys, and it's frustrating. And there's nothing we can do other than go get a mobile. It'll work. You'll get there.
Oh yeah,
anyway.
I do have I've tried to make a video, but it's so not glamorous because HTs are super glamorous. So by the way, like, just go buy a TID Radio H3. Like, these are great. They really are. They're really good. I have no complaints against this radio. It's also super small, which, like, I already have small hands, and this is already pretty small in my hands. Love this radio. Good. It's way more expensive than a $17 Baofeng, though, so it's always like, how much money do you want to spend on this kind of crap? But yeah, I agree with Don. There's a I don't know what it is, but every ham, particularly the technician ham, needs to know when to just cut bait on the HTs and go a mobile. Like, you got to figure out when you just got to stop trying to make an HT work and just go get a mobile radio, and your life will be so much better if you could just get over that. And I promise you, it's way better.
The other thing, 'cause I agree mostly with Don's point, but I also think it's really up to the operator, because you can have a really low tier HT, but if you get yourself a decent antenna because you recognize the need for that, if you custom firmware, whatever. My Quansheng, I have one of them. I put like an expandable whip on it, and it hears airband really well. Now, obviously, I'm not going to transmit it on airband, but that's the thing. If I need to or want to listen to airband, that's what I use, because it's the firmware enables it in a way that it doesn't suck at that particular thing, and so it complements what I already have. I'm not going to check in a net on it, but what's the best radio? The one you have on you, right? So
Right.
I have. It's just not the one I'm going to prefer.
But see, even going that level, so let's say you go buy an HT and you put the whip on it and you talk into it and you're like, I'm not able to hit the repeater. Or I hit the repeater barely, and like Don's saying, you're scratchy as all get out, and everybody tells me it's like, oh, this is not working. So then I say, okay, I'm going to set up an antenna on the roof, and I'm going to bring the coax in, plug into this, and it's a little bit better. They can hear me, and nobody's complaining, so it's probably okay. But you're not satisfied. Like, people can talk over you still, whatever happens. I don't know what you do on your repeaters, but
Yeah, no, I
then
agree.
but then
You're
you just
at that
throw the
point.
mobile into that. You throw the mobile onto the antenna. You already put the antenna on the roof, so it's just a step process, right? I like that. I think that approach is totally valid.
Yeah, and one of the things that we've run into, and again, this is from a club perspective where we're running club nets, and we want so bad for people to participate in those nets.
Yeah.
And then you hear those guys, and they're real scratchy, and you can't have a conversation with them to even try to help them. All you can do is throw that back at them. Well, look, you're real scratchy in the repeater. I can't understand you. You try 2 or 3 times to get their call or whatever, and you just can't hear them. And every time that happens to me, I just feel like an idiot. I feel like I'm being sad ham back at them because I can't help them.
Yeah.
I'm not there. I'm not physically there. They can hear me, but I can't actually have a conversation with them, which is what you have a radio for. I want to talk to you, and then you can talk to me, and then I can talk. And if you can't do that, then you get frustrated. I get it.
Yeah. So
Well, okay.
the geekiest
Sorry.
guy saying having an 818 be my mobile feels way better. Well, but it's not on VHF UHF because you only have limited watts out on that. 50 watts on VHF UHF is a workable amount of watts. An HT is still pretty light. So I like the 818, don't get me wrong. I just don't think it's what we're talking about in this case. So go ahead with what your statement was earlier.
I mean, an 818 is fine. It's 20 or 25 watts on VHF, and that's still double what a good HT can do.
It is? It's 20 watts?
I thought it was.
It's 5.
Is it 5? Okay, I'm wrong. I must be thinking of the other one.
I'd be like, holy crap. I'm going to pull that thing out right now. There's no way. There's no way.
857 is probably what you're thinking.
That's
I think you're right. They're about the same shape and size, right?
Not really. The 857
Not at all.
is small, but the
857
818
it's
is
huge.
Yeah, it's small. Well, it's huge compared to an 818, but it's not a 710 size. So it's closer to an 891 is what I'm getting at. But yeah, the 818 is way smaller.
Way smaller.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
But just about everybody can afford a DB25 or something that gets 25 watts.
Yeah,
I
or
mean-
the new Retivus one that kind of looks pretty
Well,
fancy.
again, I've heard people complain that, well, no, $60. I don't have $60, and I understand that, but you know, I sometimes in any hobby, if you're going golfing, there's a certain amount of clubs you got to buy. I'm sorry, you can't do it with one club.
You can?
Not in play actual 18-hole golf. Now putt, yes, but
I'm joking. I'm a lefty, and I go to the driving range. That's the extent of my golf.
So, there's a comment here, and I gotta understand the clarification. Hello, Josh. Have you heard any updates on the FCC yet about license? I don't know what that means, radio operator. What do you mean by about license? Are you talking about that whole deregulation thing the FCC is trying to do, or what their comments were? Is that what you're talking about? But you tell me.
Hey Josh, 1K Sender up at the top. He had a question earlier.
Who? Where is it? I didn't see it. Go ahead. If what's the question? What was the question? 1K Sender. You're keying up, but we're not hearing you, so you may not have your mic and audio sorted out.
Am I there?
Yeah, you're there.
You're real quiet there, bud.
Bump it up a little bit, but you're there. Oh, now we lost you.
Yeah.
UA 55 bit.
And if you're, by the way, this is one of those things for me too. If you're on a phone and we can't help you get to the PTT button any better, it's just going to be clumsy. It's so much better on a keyboard and mouse.
All right, so we do have some ARRL news here. So I'll try to look at this right now. So let's see, get this out of the way.
It wasn't really news.
Well,
Yeah, it's
I guess
it's
not
their
news,
same
but-
boilerplate.
All right. In titled public regarding delete issued March 12th, the FCC is soliciting. Okay, ARRL through its executive committee and FCC council is conducting a review of the provisions of Part 97 or the related news. It is expected the commission will incorporate suggestions that it decides worthy of consideration into notice of rulemaking. Yeah, that's not. What are they asking for?
Nothing. It was essentially the ARRL saying, hi, our very expensive lawyers are doing their job. Please let our very expensive lawyers do their job, and we will let you know what we have determined our very expensive lawyers want to submit as proof that they do their job.
So I got into an email chain, and I'm not going to mention any names because I respect all these people and I like them a lot, and this is actually is no negatives against them. But there was a comment that was made by one of them that it was, everybody be quiet about this. We don't want to show up on anybody's radar. And I want to scream from the rooftops that everyone knows about the amateur radio frequencies. They already want our frequencies. They know of what we do. They know of us. They don't care. They want our frequencies. So, yes, it is entirely likely that amateur radio is going to show up as a thing to take access away from. Yes, that is a thing that can happen. And in all likelihood could happen, right? So, by shutting up and not saying anything, we just silently get on the train car and go down the rail line. That's not the world that I live in. I don't. I live in the be a big mouth and talk about it and say why we're important and why we should continue to exist and not be threatened by whatever deregulation means in this case, which I even think that whole concept with the FCC is insane. but I'm not ready to make my 5-minute like dialogue or diatribe on that. I am getting frustrated. I made that video strictly being like, I made this video strictly to just get the thoughts out there. Like, not the thoughts, but just the narrative. Like, here is the news. Let me report on the news. And then I'm looking at the comments, and I'm like, do you guys even, like, think about, like, the world outside of you? You're just thinking about, like, I just get rid of licenses. That's not what we're talking about, guys. That's not what any of this is about. They're not talking about deregulating the ham radio service. They're talking about taking frequencies away from the ham radio service, hypothetically.
And those people that think that you want to get rid of licenses, believe me, they are not going to do that, because if they would do that, they would have to remove them from big telco and everybody else, and they don't want that. So the guys with the big money don't want their licenses taken away. Licenses are not going to go away. They're going to stay.
No.
The thing you have to watch for is that the guys with big money come in and try to take your frequencies. And I can tell you right now, it's already happening in the 915 megahertz range. The FCC's already approved it, and Laura will not be around much longer in that range.
But the thing with Laura, though, let me just say the thing with Laura, everybody's just going to be a pirate Meshtastic operator. There's no way that they're going to get rid of Meshtastic. That's not going to happen.
No,
the cat is out of the bag.
Yeah, they're not going to do that. What they have gotten from the FCC is a non-interference deal. So they can't interfere with us as amateur radio operators in 902, but 915 they don't have a restriction. So they can operate and interfere with you, and there's no consequence to them.
Oh, yeah. No, I hear that. But we're just going to put amplifiers on Meshtastic, and then it's going to be the new CB. Sure. Like, there will literally be, like, underground illegal Meshtastic amplifiers that will come out of this. I guarantee it. I guarantee it.
900 meg is right where you can get some pretty big magnetrons and start doing some fun stuff if you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a couple things on this. Don, you're 100% right. 900 is basically that nails in the coffin. That's it, done and over with. And Josh, as far as the FCC and the whole thing goes, the ARRL, it came out last night during the Ham Radio Kids table. It came out last night. The ARRL was 8 days late in posting this. You had a video out before the ARRL said anything.
I had a video out the day it was released, because news that I find out about, I stop what I'm doing. Like, any videos that were being done, if it's a news story, I make a video immediately.
Right. So there's that. And then what you're also saying about this is, and please stop me if I'm wrong, we should all be alligators, aka big mouths, for those that aren't familiar with the term. We should all be alligators about this and shout it from the rooftops and fight it.
Did Don talk about it on Ham Nation?
I don't think
because it happened after Ham Nation. This all happened after Ham Nation, I think.
Yeah, because the reason I'm asking is I don't know. Does he get his news only from the ARRL, or does he pull it from everywhere?
Oh, and it's not just Don. It's the whole cadre of the Amateur Radio Newsline crew. Like, they all pull different news stories. They're very active. They're on.
What I'm thinking, and basically from what I'm reading this thing here, is they're keeping their damn mouth shut because their lawyers are working behind the scenes, and I hate that. They should be upfront with what they're doing.
Don. I agree with you.
Here's where the rubber has to meet the road, really, because some of the ARRL's attorneys are in my club, so I speak to them pretty regularly. Of a lot, like the FCC and Chairman Carr, political opinions aside, are very good friends with each other, and Carr has kind of been instructed by some congressional leadership to, hey, shut up, we know amateur radio exists, kind of be careful with it. But that doesn't play into the larger political games of the administration.
Exactly.
As to why the ARRL is quiet is because they know that hams are very, very loud and mouthy and are going to start doing the, yada, 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 we need to change .org position, which they're not going to pay attention to. What they're going to pay attention to is the fancy, expensive lawyers who are friends with the FCC chairman and who they know personally, going to be, hey, let's go get dinner and let's go talk about this. It's not going to be but my change.org position has 500,000 signatures. It's Jim, the attorney in, Lycoming, Maryland, who also works for Northrop Grumman on the side, is like, yeah, I'm a ham, and I'm going to go talk to Carr and Co. and tell them, hey, stop what you're doing, or let's calm down here. It's not going to be, the ARRL, in an ideal world, the ARRL would start yapping and doing all this, but that's not how you play the games of DC. And it's diverse from reality, but again.
But Levi, all right, okay, I'm with you.
This is someone who plays the games of DC daily.
Hear me out. Okay, I hear what you're saying, and I think that even that mindset is of a bygone era. I think that is a true statement, like Beltway politics. The ins and outs of the steak dinner.
It's gone.
But the problem is that you're literally talking about the president and the cadre of people that are in and around his social circles are 100% social media addicts.
I agree that they're all a bunch of mindless sycophants who have no idea they're asshole from their elbow.
Well, I'm not even going down that road. I'm saying that the social media impact is way higher than these backroom glad-handing sessions in the sense of the public influence. The public influence is all on social media, and if we're not amplifying our collective signals, then, you can still have the steak dinners, still go do the glad-handing and all that stuff. I'm just saying that, I'm not going to sit back and be like, I'm just going to wait for the adults to go have a dinner to solve the problem. I'm going to continue to make my videos and point out the problems I'm seeing in the most logical and objective way I can. But we're done with I'm done with I'm just going to be quiet and hope it all works out. I'm never going to play that game again, ever.
Oh, no, I agree completely. It wasn't saying, shut up, be quiet.
Good. Yeah.
It was more of a, hey, the ARRL isn't laying on its back and taking it. They know what they're doing, and they're playing that game.
That's their playbook. Also, if at any time there was any moment where Levi said, just everybody shut up, the other people know what's best for you, everybody be quiet, I was like, Levi, someone has abducted Levi and replaced him with an alien or some robot or something like that. That's not Levi.
Hey, Josh.
That's what I'm feeling like the ARRL is doing.
They've got the quarterback handbook or the quarterback handbook from the 90s, and they're running the playbook. That's what they got.
Yeah. I get that, but they're not communicating with those people who are members, and we're the ones that are paying for the damn thing.
Hey, Josh.
Gravy, I don't know that we can reset everything to default here, but I don't know where we got.
No, it's okay. But this is the mantra. This is the mantra of the Ham Radio Kids Table. This isn't your grandfather's ham radio anymore. We're not going to ask for your permission.
Well, okay, good. I like that.
We're rolling.
Yeah,
this is how we're rolling today.
I like that.
Scream it loud. Scream it proud.
Yeah. But again, a lot of the people actively in this area that are dealing with this issue and trying on behalf of the ARRL are doing it pro bono because they're hams and the ARRL can't afford them. And it's also they're actively
Levi, they could afford them. Don't tell me that.
I don't think you understand.
No.
The fees of Wiley and Sons is insane nowadays. But yeah, the point is, the ARRL has to kind of play the game of politics.
They do.
You get on YouTube and yap and
Yes, and I'm gonna yap. You're right.
It works.
You're right. So don't get me wrong. The ARRL has almost stuck themselves in a position where they have to play this game. I'm not. I did say that it's an old playbook, but it's the only playbook they really can play because that's if they go out on social media like I do, and they start spouting off on something, then they can lose credibility with the people that they're trying to maintain these relationships with. So totally true. But at the same time, and so hear me, Levi, on this as well, you can pull up their tax reporting forms, and you can look up what they spend for lobbying and lawyers and all that stuff for protecting the bands. And I look at some of those numbers.
I read
The
that every
lobbying
year.
in particular is way lower than I would expect it to be.
So
And
the reason for that is they legally can't. They're a 501c3 and they have a whole bunch of rules on their lobbying.
So see, this is a bigger problem. That's why I feel like, I don't want to say that's why I feel like I'm so important right now. I don't, but I just don't know of anybody else that has a position, the same one that I have, because here's the deal. The FCC used to be embedded with hams. The FCC used to be filled with ham radio operators. There are very few amateur radio operators in the FCC now, and not enough in the positions that would protect amateur radio in the FCC. So what are we supposed to do? What's going to happen? I just don't know. And that freaks me out.
Quit electing idiots and
well, I mean, I'm not even going to go down the political thing right now because I don't think it matters from the point of our response, right? Because if you start talking about a particular political party or whatever, it doesn't help our goal, which is to protect amateur radio. So here we are, right? We're in this situation. How do we protect amateur radio? At this point, I'm open to anything. And I don't know that we've ever faced as weird a kind of threat because in the past I'd go, oh, these are international agreements that as a country we have lined up in the International Telecommunications Union and said, like, yes, we agree with you. This is what we're going to do. But now we've got a president, and again, it's not a political statement, but a president that's like, I'm willing to pull us out of international agreements. So now all of that goes by the wayside. It's like, okay, so what do we do now, kids?
In all seriousness, it's going to be a hope that either the social media yapping, the mix of the ARRL's lobbying, and the forces at B and NTIA and the DSO kind of say, there's a reason HF exists. There's a reason HF has been fairly unchanged for the last 100-something years. It's because hams exist, but hams are good at keeping certain portions of the band clean for other uses if that use arises. It's going to be a hope that both the ARRL and then people like yourself and the forces at B that are partly within the government also doing same kinds of work kind of just protect, I guess, HF. As to 1 gig and higher, I'm sorry, most people can probably kiss that goodbye. That's going to be sold to the highest bidder.
Yeah, and so 10 gig amateur radio. What a great band.
That's dead in the next 5 years. That's call.
Go ahead, comment.
Get a comment. And then
yeah, go ahead. Mike, go ahead.
Well, over here, we recently had that happen here. We had a deregulation. And all I'm going to say is we're bloody glad it happened. Because the licensing body looked at I think they were going through the various types of license and said half these rules that the radio hams have to comply to don't make any sense. So then they went through the rule book that had been, the license itself, and went, none of these are justified, and some of them ain't even legal with international agreements. And then when they looked into the paperwork, the rules and regulations, there were nothing ever written down, and that's how weird it was here. So deregulation can be good, but you said it in your video. If the people are asked to make a comment, here's what we want to deregulate. What do you think? Make bloody sure you comment on it. And you send those return forms saying what your feelings are. Yeah. Have your say. That's what the most important thing is. I mean, I did when they sent me a document, and I did my best to fill it out. Got Rob to give me a hand, and we made our point, and as it was, it worked out really well for us. Ofcom did us a solid. They removed regulations and redefined our license in such a way that is now much better than it's ever been.
That's good.
I only hope that happens to you over there, and you get rid of some of your rather quaint but very odd rules that you have over there, which is are so out of date now. Like the like you had recently with the how much data you could use. You were literally the only country left doing that.
I agree.
So,
yes, it's crazy.
So,
it was crazy.
But that's what I think. I think you guys all need to get together and say, look, when this consultation document, if you get one, I hope you do. If a consultation document comes out, make sure that you have your say, hopefully it won't be. We're just going to pull it, which and we know they won't, but you never know.
Well, so Mike, the clarification point there, and Don, I'll let you go after me. The clarification here is that the delete form or post that got put out by the FCC was clearly written towards businesses and how they could deregulate the FCC rules to support and improve upon businesses. It was clearly written that way. And so to a business, if I had money on my mind, I would be like looking at where I could make more money by expanding my services out into different bands. And so I think logically that's exactly what other people are seeing when they think about that particular form that was written. So that's the way I look at it. So Don, you're next. Go ahead.
Oh, I thought there was somebody else.
It was Don. It's you, and then hide and seek. He'll go next, and then Levi.
Okay, because to me the thing that in order to sell off frequencies and do that, you have to change the rules. And I think this is more about getting rid of rules that exist today that don't make sense. And the frequencies are not part of that. That's something that requires a new rule to change. So I don't think they're looking at making new rules. I think they're looking at ones that don't make sense. And now in some cases, I think that what you'll see is that there's a possibility they will get rid of regulations that keep one service from interfering with another. And those are the things I think we're most in danger of.
Okay. All right. Hide and seek, what's your comment?
So with Don's earlier comment, I was going to reply to him, say I agree with Don mostly. I agree with Mike mostly. I agree with you mostly. I think the points that differ, I read the ARRL's response quite differently, apparently. I think that the idea, the plan that they're telling us all to do is we have comments, we have thoughts, look, all hams have opinions, and you can't shut us up about them. Bring those to the ARRL, and they'll be our filter, and they'll be our representative. And if we just go and, email your congressman and call them until their voicemail's full and whatever, I don't think that that's going to be the right way to approach this. It's the way to get some other things done sometimes, but I don't think that this one is really going to do that because there's too much of an education point to work around what the ARRL is already trying to do. I think that that's mostly what Levi was really encouraging, but just maybe I'm looking at it from a different perspective of what do we do, but I'm agreeing with Levi in terms of how do we get there. The only thing that I can suggest is, because I watched your video when it first came out. I think that you've got one thing a little bit wrong, and it's that I don't think most people if they read the delete thing, they're not reading it in the context of focused on business. They're reading it in the context of knee-jerk, we're going to lose all our privileges and, hair on fire and all the rest. So I appreciate everything else about your video. I appreciate everything else about your position just for that one little piece. And I think that that's worth, anytime you're going to talk about this, you need to be at least a little bit reassuring for the people that are going to otherwise just do or say something stupid.
Well, I'm actually not convinced that we won't lose privileges on certain frequencies. I'm not convinced of that. Are you convinced of that? What evidence convinces you?
And to your point in the video, like, okay, so let's say we gain spread spectrum. My thought is the ARRL on our behalf should be saying, let's add this capacity, which we're currently not allowed to do, and let's add these allocations in bands to do that, because we have a band plan, and we're all self-regulating and self-policing and all the rest. Let us do what we do in that. Give us more. Like, this is a place to push back, I think, instead of worry about what we're losing, is to kind of like take the defensive stance, ready to be on the attack, if that makes sense.
No, I don't quite understand.
Can I go?
I don't quite understand.
Hey, comment?
Yeah, Levi, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean, I read it kind of, you can read it either way, but I read it in the delete, elite, and the larger, idea of what this administration has been trying, like just unpolitically. I mean, if you ever look back into American history, the words deregulation always turn out to mean what makes some billion-dollar company their next $1 billion. Look at the airline deregulations. Look at all, major deregulation events in American history. It never turns out good for the little guy. And that's and then I read that, and then it was like, okay, yeah, no, this is an overt call for business to say, hey, we would like X, Y, and Z to suddenly not exist because we can make more money here. So that, I mean, yeah, it is. They may not say, oh, well, we're going to change frequencies and whatnot, because that would require new rules. What's to say they just don't wipe out all of Part 97 en masse and say, congrats, we removed rules. We have deregulated the FCC by just removing all of Part 97. Ham radio is no longer allowed in the United States of America. That would be quite literally meeting their goals of, hey, we have removed rules and deregulated.
That's a little far. That's a little far.
I mean, I agree it's a little far, but it's also the point of, if you haven't been stuck in a well for the last 10 years and have ever looked into the corporate history of America, it's kind of possible. I mean, we took regulation from the airlines, and then suddenly, congrats, all airlines are deregulated. All cross-state intrastate transport is now deregulated, and it never turns out for the little guy. I genuinely, do I think there's a large chance of them just whacking Part 97? No. But if it were to happen, I'd be like, I expected it. I would not be surprised, if that makes sense.
Okay.
I think they'd have a hell of a time trying to get rid of 11 meters.
Well,
they just won't stop. They'll just continue transmitting.
Here's the thing. This is when we then make come and take them flags with like 3500 Zeds on them, and you
to be bow fags. I already have it. I have a picture of a bow fag on the. I took the snake out. I put the bow fag, and it's the Gadsden flag. It says come and take them. Like, that's already a thing. I've already talked about this before. Like, probably I don't even know how long ago. 6 years ago, I made a video about that when they were talking about banning the bow fangs.
I think James.
I have a
like that.
Hi, Josh.
Hold on. There's so many people. There's somebody that said comment. Let's go back to the comment person. Who was that?
That was me.
I think Steve had something.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Hi. So, looking at this from the other side, so I've spent a number of years in both the commercial broadcast and some other industries. I think we are naive and somewhat delusional to think that when you talk about deregulation, you have to go back to the Reagan era, when there was a shift towards easing restrictions on radio and television ownerships. And again, this is the mild version of it. Market-driven approaches. Basically, this was deregulation to try and promote expansion and growth. And I think in the late 80s, early 90s, especially during the cellular expansion, the FCC discovered that spectrum auctions were incredibly profitable, and not only profitable to the FCC, but profitable to a number of industries. Fast forward to today, I think when you read that memo, this is that on, that orders of magnitude greater on a level that yet unimaginable to the average amateur radio operator, where I think we are, naive and somewhat delusional if we don't think that there is a target on spectrum, regardless of who owns it, and how to apply the dollars to that spectrum.
Yep.
Remember, the ARRL is a non-profit organization. It does nothing that is going to bring revenue to industry, or at least in a sector of an industry that's going to provide any reasonably large profit.
Well, again, it's the people that are asking for more access. They're not soothed by the ARRL.
So to your point though, and I don't disagree with you, if there was ever a time to get on a soapbox and actually demonstrate what we do as a community or as a service. Remember, back in the 50s, this was a no-brainer. During the Cold War, amateur radio operators, you were expected to be in service should something happen. Those types of call to action don't really exist in our society anymore, or at least it's not a large part of what it's originally what part of the service was supposed to provide. But I think over the years that's kind of gotten pushed back to the back burner. And while we are it is a service-oriented hobby at its core, at least at the what the base core was supposed to be. If there was ever a time to bring that to the forefront, and I think this is one of the directions that the ARRL may be going. Why getting rid of spectrum for the amateur radio community would be problematic, and what we do as a community. If there was ever a time to get on a soapbox and just start screaming about that, this is the time to do it. And I think the ARRL is probably taking a step back to focus that. I'm hoping. So that it is a cohesive and direct message, so that if you start to remove spectrum and capabilities and operating privileges and just what we do, that it becomes something that may generate some, I don't want to say public outcry, but just may generate some waves socially that the optics would look bad. But commercially, we are fodder. And we are naive to think if we are anything but fodder.
Steve, you nailed it, and I don't want to use my example that I've used in the gun community and a number of other communities of the unimpeachable person, right? So, when it comes to politics and the use of the soapbox, right? So some of us, myself included, like we have a large mouthpiece if we wanted to do something like this. We would need an unimpeachable person that was a good representation of the community, right? If we were to put something behind and say, like, this is what amateur radio is all about. How dare you take this away from us? I mean, you'd say that with a video, with the demonstration of what we're capable of doing, right? That is a interesting route to go. I didn't think that we necessarily had to break glass in case of emergency on that, but you might not be wrong. Steve, that is a really good idea.
If you go back to the 50s and 60s and even into the early 70s, it's fun. There are some YouTube videos that show what it was like to be a ham radio operator at the time, that were put out, I don't want to say by the ARRL, but were put out by clubs and other organizations that were promoting amateur radio as a service-oriented hobby. Part of your responsibility was that in a time of national emergency or in a time of need, you could be pressed into communications. We saw some of this during some of the more recent, while clumsy, and by the way, not all the press we got was good, but we saw some of this during some of the more recent natural disasters that we've had. The problem is that I think optically we don't have that focused and dialed in like we did back then. So being able to point to us as an organization that says, yeah, these guys can do this in a time of emergency, it's just not there like it was back in the day. And I think, and I'm not saying you gotta run right out and go join Skywarn and everything else, but I think the ARRL has some retooling to do, because I think some of that message and some of that way has been lost.
Yeah.
At least, I've been operating for many, many years. And I remember when, back in the day, that was like, it was almost your responsibility to be able to do things like lending a hand, or providing community support, or, helping local law enforcement, or helping a local community do communications during a parade. We're involved in civil emergency preparedness stuff. Back in the day when it was the civil defense, amateur radio operators played a very large role, or they were a component of civil defense. That's gone. I'm not saying that we need to get to that level, but I think there needs to be some retooling and refocusing of what we are. We're more than just a bunch of guys running around with $20 HTs doing, milsim on the weekends. There has to be some retooling on what we provide as a service. Then it becomes, hey, we can't get rid of these guys because they do this. We don't have that anymore, and I think that's, regardless of what your political profile is, in the grand scheme of the target on our back, it's not a loss to anybody else.
Yeah.
And I think what you've got to do is you've got to bring Thomas back on and let him talk about the North Carolina thing.
I think
fantastic thing there.
They did, and I definitely have to do that. But I think it's got to be more than that. I'm
yes, 100% agree with you.
It has to. Okay, so Steve, you pointed out that we have lost one of the biggest tokens. Okay, and I say lost in the sense that we're not publicizing it like the way we used to.
Yes, yeah, I agree. When I say lost, the focus isn't there anymore.
Right. And, by the way, the focus isn't there largely because of hams that said there's too much MCOM content that's being pushed. ARRL is too much doing this MCOM stuff. Do you know that's largely what Steve's talking about?
Well, MCOM, so I'm not going to poo-poo MCOM. MCOM is certainly there. There was a role, maybe that is the new word for it, but there was a role that the amateur radio service provided to agencies.
I see what you're saying.
That we don't have anymore, and that was one of the things. Some of that stuff used to actually be in the test way back when.
Yeah.
And the thing is, truthfully, we still do it here. We're like, I was in a club in Richardson, in Texas, and we were in bed, really in bed with the EOC there in Richardson, Texas. And they had us working with the tornado sirens and all kinds of things that we would do for the local EOC. And we did field day with the EOC. We worked with the EOC. Then I come down here to Henderson County, some 80, 90 miles away, and they're doing the same thing. So here in Texas, we work very closely with our emergency operations centers, and we're part of their responses, like when they have those like little story play things that they do, where you're practicing for a disaster.
Story play things.
Yeah, I don't know what
simulated
they call it.
Emergencies.
Yeah, yes, they do simulated emergencies, and we're part of that because we are in bed with EOCs.
Don,
we have been.
I hear the message. Obviously, we should stop doing the simulated emergencies and just take all these service groups to bed. We should take them to bed. That's obviously what the solution is, because you brought it up a couple of times.
Well,
they do things different in Texas. What can I say? I don't know what you guys are doing.
Well, and that was part of what I was getting to, because I know that when I've talked about this before, there are other places in the country that say, oh, well, our EOC won't even talk to us. And that is true. So it's kind of different between what we're seeing here and what, it's being seen in the rest of the country. And it used to be different, where most of us, on a county bike or parish or whatever the heck, y'all have in your particular states, but we were more in bed with the local communities and the local county offices and all of that kind of stuff. We
Yeah, I
work
hear
with
you.
them.
I hear you.
And they're not giving us the opportunity anymore. But here, that's not the case.
Are you talking about Aries and races and firearm?
No, I'm not, Clint. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the actual, like in Grayson County where Sherman is, there's an EOC office, and I'm talking about those guys. And that has nothing to do with Skywarn and Aries. Although here in North Texas, the NOAA weather radio logs into our nets and checks weather conditions with us when we fire up Skywarn. So again, here in Texas, NOAA even is working with us.
See, that's good to hear, Don, because to a degree, that's kind of what we need. I mean, well, I don't want to minimize that at all. That's important. I think it's a quote unquote local example, but I mean here it's just non-existent at all. If you watch periodically in New York City, we'll watch they'll do the civil preparedness emergency sims that they do every now and then. They do those. I guarantee you, there's no involvement or little involvement, if any, or activity in the amateur community with that at all. And that was not the case maybe 40 years ago or 30 years ago. So I think by necessity that's required in your neck of the woods because your weather emergencies are much more crazy than our weather emergencies. But yeah, I think as a whole, that's where I think some of this needs to go. There has to be a use case for the hobby, or otherwise. Yeah.
I think when you hit one of those disasters like what happened in North Carolina, an unexpected one, and those could happen anywhere in the United States, then having that relationship is necessary. But unless we can convince the EOCs of that, like in New York or whatever, then we're not. And I don't have an answer. I'm just saying that that's how it works here, and it's a shame, like you said, it doesn't happen as much anymore, and it is a shame that it doesn't, because from what we're experiencing, or what I've experienced living here, is that it works really well when we do.
Yeah, I won't beat a dead horse, but to your point, I blame the majority of this squarely on the ARRL, and the reason why is that if there was ever an advocate for the hobby to be involved in a lot of the services that on both nationally and statewide, that's the direction that's part of the hobby's direction that they need to be advocating for. And I think over the years, I think a lot of that has been lost. And I maybe there's retooling and maybe there's some refocusing that's happening, but the deregulation just means making it easier in a capitalist market to make money off of the spectrum we have.
Right.
It just starts to reduce a lot of the impediments that prohibit an entity from owning every radio station or every TV station, or every print, TV, radio outlet in an entire market and monopolizing it. And that's part of what deregulation ended up doing. There used to be laws that allowed you, that prevented you from owning X number of TVs, X number of FMs under single city of license. Those are gone. I mean, it's I know companies that own 5 or 6 of the 10 radio stations in a market, and they're all either 1 through 6. So it's a monopoly. It's a monopoly in some ways, but it's perfectly legal now. It wasn't 30.
I mean, deregulation in the 80s also took away, the fairness doctrine, specifically with the FCC.
Yeah.
So again, deregulation in other countries, like the UK as mentioned, can turn out well. However, its history in America always turns out to who can buy off the smallest amount of people. Who profits the most. Now, as like with all the HF trading, the main savior of ham radio in that was not the ARRL, it was the DSO, it was the Defense Spectrum Office, saying, hi, you're not going to touch HF because we still use HF, and HF is very vital to national security. like in this current world, I don't know if even that would be a good enough answer of, hey, the DoD has valid concerns and valid uses for HF staying the way it is.
Oh, they're still using it, if not more, if not now more than ever. Right now.
That's what I do for a living. So I work very closely with the DSO, and even a lot of us are like, how the hell are we going to maintain our frequency management? Because we don't know at this point.
When all those birds that are in space that are easy targets get taken out, what do we do? What? Oh, did I say something out loud?
I have neither ears to hear nor eyes to see.
Yeah.
Can I give 2 historical perspectives here?
Yeah, but I gotta wrap up soon because I expect the family back and I gotta go do the podcast. So I'm about cooked. But go ahead.
So the first one is from when we look at history, right? In the last 20 years, there was an organization called Civil Air Patrol, right? Massive organization, auxiliary of the Air Force, and they did a lot with VHF and HF. And the NTIA kind of like collapsed most of their part of a deregulation effort that they did over the last 20 years. They took away basically most of their HF privileges. So it's not out of the realm of possibility, not to fearmonger, that could happen. Saying, hey, we can use these for other things.
Yeah.
The other
spot on, Rolla. Spot on.
The other comment there is dealing with the response that the ARRL's had, and in the last couple of years, to me it feels like the ARRL is kind of like drifting towards, the way the NRA kind of drifted away from being a kind of a true 2A sort of organization. It's almost like I think the ARRL is losing their way.
Oh my God. Yeah.
You know what I'd really like to see from the ARRL is for them to move out of Connecticut into somewhere in the middle of the country. I think they need a new prescription.
They're not going to.
No, they're not. I know that, but
they got to be by the Beltway. Come on, they're so close. They got to be by the belt. It's a joke. I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking. That's the joke, Levi. That's the joke.
They can't even take a Scylla.
To my point with ARRL is that to use an example that you had from the 2A community, which is that when the NRA started to kind of like fall on its face, other organizations started to pick up, to the point that I've heard in several voices in this chat about, hey, don't be silent. Maybe start organizing and start your own organizations to be more vocal.
I expect other ARRL-like arms of communities to start popping up.
Well,
I think they already are.
I'm hearing ham radio GOA.
But by the way, we're so focused right now on what the FCC is doing, but remember that they're also going after FEMA, and that's where like our MCOM.
That's the tell. That's the handwriting on the wall right there.
Well, that's where our MCOM stuff comes in, because, and the truth is that, again, in North Carolina, FEMA did a very poor job, and yet, the community down there, the ham community down there, stepped up and did an awful lot.
All right. I'm gonna take this pause and I'm gonna wrap up on my end. You guys keep talking though. Maybe when I come back and you're all at me, and then we'll have a solution here and how I direct my.
Maybe we need to add more comments to that delete video you did.
Everybody should be adding all their comments on that. I gave you the links. Go after it and actually go in there and add your thoughts. And it shouldn't. And I'm not telling you what to do. Of course, just add your thoughts the way you want to add them. But remember, it's not necessarily about like, oh, we're going to remove the general license and the extra license, and it's just going to be one license. That's not what we're talking about. It's literally the threat of having the bans removed.
Yeah,
that's the concern.
Leia needs to go through that the comments in that video and pull the sad hams out.
Oh, she should. There's a lot of comments in there. I'm gonna do another video where we go through the comments, because I think a lot of them are just from ignorance of like not really understanding what amateur radio is and what we've gone throughout the decades. That like people just aren't approaching it even from the right baseline. Like nobody's at a right baseline. Everybody's all over the map. So.
Oh right.
Yeah, this is literally one of the hottest topics. Literally, what Interstellar Sandman is saying, Starman is saying. this is like one of the hottest topics that has come out in the news in as long as I remember with amateur radio. This is a huge potential issue. Huge.
Yeah.
The largest one I've heard in my lifetime and probably before that.
And
From my point of view.
I'm not afraid of what people are saying. I'm afraid of what they're not saying.
No, yeah.
Yep. No, I'm just concerned we're gonna like pull out the comments that look the most ignorant, and then everyone in there is gonna be all extras.
Oh, yeah. Anyway. All right, everybody on the Discord, I appreciate your engagement. You guys keep trucking in there and keep talking about this. Solve the problem so that when I catch up with you, then it's all easy. I can just implement, right? That's what I'm looking for. Easy answers. So you guys take it easy.
33s. Josh, have a good night, man.
73, Josh, and have a great week.
Take it easy. See ya.
Looking forward to a great podcast.
I hope so. Yeah. See ya. All right, so we're still live on this side. Thank you everybody for watching on Discord and Twitch and wherever you're watching. Made a ton of contacts. I don't know. I mean, I didn't even get to say anything on this, but do you see how I'm propagating right now? This is like the best 20 meters has been in quite a while. This is better than most of the huge openings on 20 meters. This is a really good night. So if you're not already working 20 meters, you should be right now. You will be killing it out there. I don't even think I'm aiming. Let me see. Where's my? Hold on. Yeah, I'm not even aiming north. So if I pipe my antenna just a little bit north, so watch this. My antenna is now skewing up. So we're gonna drop one of these fat boys in here, and let's see what changes on the purple here. Before I get out of here, I'm going to show you this. Let's see what this looks like. Just gave it a little bit north. I could have gone higher north. Oh, maybe we're dwindling. Oh, wow. So it was the opening. I don't know. Interesting. Normally, you want to go over the north side into Europe. I don't know. That's interesting. Huh. Okay. I don't know what to say other than that. All right, guys. That is it for me. I appreciate you watching. And believe me, there's going to be a lot more on this. And politics is coming to amateur radio. I think that's just something we're going to have to include in what we talk about. I apologize for a lot of you. I know that you're not necessarily political. I try not to be political, but in some parts of the world and time and space, I have to be. And I'm willing to be if I need to, and I feel like it's something that's likely going to happen. So I appreciate your support and everything else that goes along with that, and hope to have your support in the future, because I think this is going to get a little dirtier before it gets clean again. So thanks for watching. I'll be back again next week and obviously dropping the videos, and Ham Nation is next week. So until I touch you again, 73. Politics is just people living together, doing things in the same space. Unfortunately, you can avoid it for a long time, but it always catches up with you. Hey, what's up, the Pants? Thanks for the shout out, man. Undisputed, Sharpie, Knife Fight, Champion. I don't even know what date that was. That was like, oh, God, what was that? 2010? 2009? When I fought an older dude in a parking garage with a Sharpie. What year was that? The Pants, you remember? It was the weekend before SHOT Show, and somebody challenged me that they could disarm me with a knife because of their great ninjutsu skills. And I said, bet. And then in a parking garage in a casino in Las Vegas, we had the fight. The man was marked severely with the Sharpie pen. That is the story. I don't have a SoundCloud, unfortunately. You just have to show up every week to hear it. There is a video. I don't know who has it. I think it's Gun Websites. I think Gun Websites has it. Gun Websites has it. You're going to have to go back like 10 years, though, to find it. 73, everybody.